Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to a strategy video for the 2023 Worldwide Technology Championship. I had to do it. The title of this tournament is ridiculous. It's better than it used to be. It used to be Worldwide Technology Championship at Mayakoba. But now we're not at Mayakoba, so you guys should know that. I'm sure you've seen all the other podcasts out there talk about how this isn't at the golf course it once was at, so no course history can be had. But I'd still recommend using tournament history, to be quite honest, and that's what we'll do later on in this video. Just a reminder of what I like to do in these strategy videos, kind of go over the course and tournament information. I didn't really do much of a course breakdown, but I did do my due diligence of learning about the golf course and everything it has to offer and what we can look at. I mean, there's no shot shape that matters at this golf course, at least from what I could tell. So if there's no benefit for a shot shape, what are we doing with golf course analysis? Because we have no idea what these golfers are going to do strategy wise, unless you have someone who actually breaks it down hole by hole, golfer by golfer, and nobody has time for that. So anyways, we'll kind of go into that a little bit. We'll talk about pass optimal and GPP winning lineups. Despite this being a new golf course, this course I think is going to be a lot like, I mean, it's not going to be just like Mayakoba, but it's going to have the same feel. I mean, they're both in Mexico. Apparently this one's on the west coast where the other one was on the east, or vice versa, whatever. Doesn't quite matter. It's a resort style golf course. I think the scores are going to be low. Well, I imagine they'll be low. So birdie makers in like Puerto Rico Open, Corrales, Punta Cana, all those resort style golf courses, even the Mayakoba Classic or Challenge, whatever you want to call it. Well, it was Classic. Those would be tournaments you'd want to look at. So we'll look at that again. We'll dive into the pass optimal and GPP winning lineups just because. And then we'll talk about the buckets. I mean, we didn't have a tournament last week, so we can't really go over the last week buckets. We could look at the tournament history buckets, but really this is the first year that for the SweetSpot data, I don't have, well, I should say this. We don't really have tournament history per se because it was all at, shoot, I already forgot the name of that golf course in Mayakoba. But El Camaleon, maybe? I don't remember. But yeah, no course history buckets. We'll use tournament history buckets. We won't be as like strict with those. I'll keep the caps as they are, like the maximums, but we'll go over that a little bit with the bucket system. We'll go over the marquee tee times because that's always something we want to look at. And then we'll get into building lineups. So a little bit long of an intro is what I'll cover in this video, but it's going to be the normal stuff, same stuff. But before we get into, further on in the strategy video, just reminders that I like to do some giveaways. Like to do a monthly and a weekly giveaway. This is the last day of October. It's Halloween, as you can tell with the Halloween music that I kind of have going on. This is your chance to get more entries into the monthly giveaway. And also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, I need 8 more subscribers to hit the sub goal you see over there. And if you see like the little italics, or not italics, but the fine print. So for the monthly giveaway, we have to hit the goal of 600 subscribers before I would give away $50. So next week when we're going over the next tournament, during that strategy video, I will be doing a monthly giveaway. Now, I can either give away the $50 you see up there if we reach 600 subscribers, or I'll give away a t-shirt that has this logo on it. So it's one or the other. And of course, if you've already won a t-shirt before, we can always bank those. I am thinking of doing a new merch drop sometime. I'd like to get all white gear as opposed to just black, because the t-shirts are black, the sweatshirts are black. I kind of want to do the white version of those. So I'm thinking about doing that. We'll see. I also gauge more interest to see how many people would be into that. So we'll double check on that. Either way, if you've won a t-shirt before, you can bank that. I'll just call it $15. We can bank that towards a sweatshirt in the future, or even a hat, because I also want to do hats. So all that's available. And to get into any of these entries, to either do the weekly entry or the monthly entry, you just gotta participate. Participate on the channel, be subscribed, comment, just like AJ Love, as well as 8Game. How's it going, fellas? Do that, you get a free entry into the giveaway. So during this live chat, if you're lucky enough to jump in here, I shouldn't say lucky enough, but let's say if you have the free time that you can jump into these live chats and leave messages, you get entries into the giveaway. Of course, it will replay on YouTube. If you go into the replay and you leave comments on there, you get more entries. And of course, you get one free entry per video. So hi, Josh. Yes, let's get it. So there we go. Josh gets an entry into the giveaway for next week's weekly giveaway, but he also gets another one into the monthly giveaway. All three of the gentlemen here have all participated in the chat before, so they're gonna have multiple entries into the monthly giveaway. So I appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, if you're out there and you want to get entries, all you gotta do is just participate on the channel. That's all that you need. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the weekly giveaway. So I keep track of all the entries. We had 13 unique entries. We had a couple people that came in and commented after the live video posted. So thank you, Paul, Barry, and Gabe. And then we have everyone who participated in the live chat 2 weeks ago for the Zozo Championship. Hello, Tara. How's it going? So once I hit yes, we will have our giveaway winner. I keep saying I need a drum roll thing. Drum roll, please. JK Lawrence, congratulations. JK, if you're watching this, reach out to me. I think I have your information. I'm not positive, but $5 is yours to put towards anything. Just to show you that it's not rigged, I'll go ahead and hit yes and no a couple times, and you'll see different winners. It's random. It is not rigged. I know some people think that it is, but it is not. So, anyways. If we were building lineups, I'd like Dietrich and Kuchar. You got it, AJ. You can have the first lineups that I build. So, congratulations to JK. JK, again, if you're watching this, just reach out to me. Let me know where I can send that money to. I can't remember. I think we've done Venmo before, so if I find it, I'll just send it to you and let you know it was from the SweetSpot giveaway. If not, reach out to me. Okay, so that was one giveaway. I do prize picks giveaways, although it's not really a giveaway. It's more of like a thank you for using my promo code type of thing, like a refund almost. So if you're not on prize picks yet, surprising, since I started doing kind of being an ambassador for prize picks, they have taken off. Like there are now, you know, national commercials for them, all that good stuff. It's cool. You know, it was fun when it first came out. It's still fun, obviously. It's bigger. There's more ways to play. For all of those that are in the chat, are you interested in like a prize picks video, like a weekly prize picks video at some point in time? I don't know how many of you actually play prize picks, but it's something that I didn't really get a lot of like interest in when I was originally doing them, but there's, I think with NBA, PGA kind of stinks, if I'm going to be honest with you, because the lines are always really good, and in order to like, I mean, I'm kind of a sucker. I like to do the 5x and the 6x payout, so I'm putting, or not the 5x, 6x, the 25x and like the 20x. So I'm always selecting somewhere between 5 to 6 golfers whenever I make my picks, and I think only one time did I get all 6. I'm like doing 5s and 4s out of 6s, so I'm doubling my money or I'm getting 40% back, but it's hard to do with golf. And eventually, when the website is up and running, I will hope to use that as a tool to play Prize Picks. But anyways, if you've not yet signed up on Prize Picks, there's a link in the description that'll send you to the homepage, where all you gotta do is hit sign up, and then boom, the SweetSpot promo code will already populate in there. You sign up, you put $20 in your account, I'll give you your $20 back. That way you can play it for free. And then Prize Picks will match your deposit. But it will match your deposit up to $100. That's what all of the like every person who's trying to get you to use their promo code, that's your bonus. You don't even need someone's promo code to sign up to get a $100 bonus, by the way. However, here at SweetSpot DFS, I'm giving you $20 if you use the promo code SweetSpot. So it's helping me help you. And hey, maybe you just put one big bet down. Although you're not supposed to use the word bet. You bank one card, put your $40 in if you want to play it for free, and maybe you can 25x your money. Maybe you can double your money and play again and continue to do that. Again, use the promo code SweetSpot when you sign up. Okay, so those are the 2 monetary giveaways. I also provide a cheat sheet. Let me get it on the screen. This is available to you for free. There's a link in the description for this. If you want to follow along while I go through this video, go check that out. I have all of the filters on here that I would normally use. All the data that I'm going to be using all of that is in here. You can see my model is over here in column CY over to DR, and then you can kind of see the score that's applied. That score obviously is reflected in the rankings. So you don't even need to look at the score. You don't need to look at the model, but if you wanted to, it's all there for you. I like to be as transparent as possible. So it's all available to you. Check the link in the description. Of course, I also have the bucket system up here as well. Again, we'll talk about this later. So if you want to check it out while I'm going through it, or you want to follow along with me, again, link is in the description for the cheat sheet. And then also, we're going to be building lineups at the end of this video, and I use an optimizer that I have built personally. So if you want to use the optimizer that has the buckets included, the whole SweetSpot process that I'll be discussing in the strategy video, it's all on this spreadsheet. And this is how I build my lineups. We've hit big in the past, kind of a little bit on a dry spell, but I mean, we're not doing terrible. So if you want access to this, email me at sweetspotdfs@gmail.com. Let me know you're interested in the optimizer. I have my email up right now, so if you want to send me an email throughout this, feel free to, and I will send you the optimizer. But I'll also be building lineups again. So if you're one of those that's like a single entry type of person, or you have just like, 10 lineups that you like to build, I can build those for you too, or give you ideas on what to do with lineup building. Okay, I believe that is everything that I need to remind you all on. So let's go ahead and get into this thing. And quite frankly, I'm just going to go ahead and take down the optimizer, and I want to go right into the tournament fact sheet. So we're going to talk about the golf course. So the tournament fact sheets can be accessed at the gcsaa.org. So that site looks like this. All that you need to do is scroll to the bottom till you find something that's called the media room right down here. You'll see the tournament fact sheets there. Click on that and it'll bring you to this page right here. Now you can see all the different tours, like the PGA Tour, whatever tournament you want to look at, you can find a lot of their tournament fact sheets here. You just drill down on the worldwide PGA Tour one and it spits out this. So why do I like to always send you guys here? It's mostly because these are all data points you can use to research. And you can throw it into whatever website you use. You could also manually look it up if you wanted to on whatever website you want to use. But we have the golf course right here. El Cardinal at Diamante. Now, this golf course is fairly new. We have not had a PGA Tour event on it yet, so we have no course history. But again, I said we could use tournament history. And quite frankly, the Worldwide Technology Championship has gone through different rebrands in the last 7 years, last 8 years. So anything that had Mayakoba on it prior to this year, that's what you could use, because you had the OHL at Mayakoba, you had the Mayakoba Golf Classic, you had the Mayakoba Championship, you had a lot of different kind of rebrands, but most of it had everything to do with Mayakoba. You can use that for tournament history. That's what I would use. Other things you can use, I would say yardage. Just remember, this is kind of just it's like a baseline. They can set up the golf course shorter, they can set it up longer, but 7,400 yards, I would use that, and also par 72. But I'm not sure I really care too much about par. I think just the yardage alone is the only thing that really appeals to me when it comes to researching, like just the tournament setup. But we also have the stimp meter. These run a little on the slow side. If they're going to be around 11, that's slow on the tour. 12 is going to be around average, 11, 5, 12. Some tournaments have up to 13, and it depends on how undulating the greens are, which it doesn't appear these are very undulating, but I did a very surface level scan, so I couldn't tell you. There's not a lot that we can, go out there and research. So keep that in mind. You can definitely use the stimp meter for a data point. Now, out of 100 points, I'd say 1 or 2. Like, don't get crazy and put like 10 points. Don't put 10% of your researching into a stimp meter. Green sizes, these are huge. 8,300 square feet in comparison to like Pebble Beach, which is like 3,600 square feet or something like that. Or I think it's around 4,000, maybe a little less. On tour, I think 5,000 is about average. So these are massive. The rest of the information on there, not all that important. Of course, every single week I talk about turf grass because that is the most important. This is paspalum. So paspalum will act a lot like Bermuda. It's meant to be on courses on coastal, like well, they're meant to be on coastal golf courses because, with wind, rain, all the different weather, that sea salt will get onto the golf course, and paspalum does a really good job of soaking it in and using it. Whereas if you had Bermuda or bent grass or anything like that, that sea salt would actually kill a lot of that grass or dry it out really fast. So paspalum's good. It's a grainy type of golf or a type of turf, which acts a lot like Bermuda. I don't know. I suppose we can see how short they are actually mowing these. So 325 or trying to remember this. So this is just greater than 1/4 of an inch. That's on the shorter side. So tight lies is kind of what I'm anticipating. I'm trying to remember the tightest that I've seen. Off memory, I think it's like 0.11 and you can see these greens are at 0.1. So I mean, I would say this is lower, or this is tighter than average, which would say, optimal approach conditions. Gonna have a lot of spin on your golf ball. Paspalum by itself wouldn't really allow that, but if it's cut low enough, yeah, you'd get a lot of spin on it. Oh, fairways, I'm sorry, 3.7. Yeah, okay, so it's a little on the average, but I still think it's shorter than average. Either way, paspalum. If you needed a grass, I don't use. So what I would normally say is like, oh, we have turf grass, right? Okay, cool. Go to my cheat sheet, take a look at the grass section, the course fit section. I don't keep track of paspalum grass. So I couldn't tell you who does better on paspalum than any of the other golfers. But again, if you use those comp courses of like resort style courses where you've got what, Corrales, Puerto Rico, even Mayakoba, you could use those tournaments to try to find some kind of corollary stat to rank your golfers by. But again, I don't have it. It is important though. Turf grass is definitely important. And then we can see some of these additional notes. Average fairway widths, that's kind of cool. 60 yards. 60 yards is very large. If that's the average fairway width, that means there are some that are tighter and some that are wider. And wider, just, it's like bombs away. That's all you got to think about. You could swing as hard as you want. You're not going to really have an issue. So in all honesty, I see Byron in the chat. How's it going, Byron? This lends way to Taylor Montgomery. Like, I don't like Taylor Montgomery's golf swing, but if he can have that ugly golf swing on this course, it's not going to hurt him as much. Byron says, wouldn't surface level be ideal for investigating undulation? I don't know, man. I get what you're saying, but I don't necessarily think there's a correlation. I don't have the tools that would actually be able to look at that. Basically, I think I have what most people have, which is called Google Images or Google Earth. And I don't know that like topography or anything like that. I'll definitely be watching the tournament and seeing the greens and keeping a mental picture of that or a mental note of that like next year when I do this. But I don't know, elaborate on that. I'm being cheeky. Okay, thank you, sir. I thought maybe you were, but if you were to give me like 3 or 4 question marks, I would know there's sarcasm behind that. Like surface, got you. Gotcha. Okay. Phew. Anyways, the rest of the stuff, I don't know. Tropical storm, potential tropical storm week before event could cause damage to the arroyos. I believe from other past podcasts, that's a term you're going to hear a lot, I guess. Basically, it's vegetation that soaks up water, especially like when storms come in. I think. I don't know. I think there's supposed to be like a protection thing for the golf course. Just natural. It's a natural. It's like a barrancas in California. Just a natural. What would you call it? I can't think of words right now. Vegetation, I guess, of that area. Whatever. Okay. AJ or Byron's got a. Look at this. Byron comes into my chat and the people are asking him questions already. I'm kidding. Go. I have no issue with that. By the way, I live in Minnesota. We already have snow. I mean, not already. This is pretty standard, but it's sticking to the ground. Happy Halloween, everyone. Forgot to mention that as well. All right. So we got through the golf course. Let's talk about the tournament. So the tournament has 132 golfers. I think that's what the field's going to stay at, and I think we're set. I don't think there are any Monday qualifiers that we need to be concerned about. Strength of field is 139 as I calculate it. Again, I use the old method of calculating strength of field, which is taking account of the OWGR to go along with the FedEx Cup ranking from the year before. This is not 2023's FedEx Cup points. These are 2022's FedEx Cup points. Really though, FedEx Cup, when it comes to the strength of field points, it's like at most is adding 15 points to someone's overall strength of field score. So I don't think it's really that big of a deal, if I'm being quite honest. So I wouldn't be too worried about the strength of field. 139 is pretty low. That's, I wouldn't say it's an alternate event field, but it's definitely like a smaller field. We kind of saw this at the Bermuda Championship. It was pretty low there as well. So if you want to use strength of field, or if you have strength of field the way that I have it, I can't remember other sites that kind of do this, but if you see anything in the 100s, that's the old version. The new version is like 12.5, 12 something, 13 something, 11 something, and that's from the OWGR. So I would just look at courses with strength of field near that. And when it comes to the rest of the tournament information, you're going to have top 65 in ties. That's the cut, I should say. The cut is top 65 in ties. We'll have 4 rounds of golf unless weather, kills it. What I would say, normally I wouldn't mind going to like results and seeing what the winning score was and trying to kind of figure out like, hey, here's another data point you guys can use in researching. You certainly could. I do think the score is going to be lower than 20 under. So I'm looking in that 22 to 25 under type of scoring range. And I bet you the cut's going to be like somewhere between 2 to 4 under as well. Although the cut here Last year was 4 under. The year before that was 4 under. Then it was 1 under, 1 under, 4 under, 1 under. Yeah, so I would say I still feel pretty confident that the cut will be like 2 under to 4 under. You could certainly use that as a data point when researching as well, because I think when a cut is low, definitely puts more emphasis on scoring early. And if you don't score early, you kind of fall behind, so you're kind of playing catch up. There's kind of a whole there's a whole psychology behind that kind of stuff. I personally, when it comes to competitive golf, the score is close. Like if the golf course is really tough, so we're talking like US Open tough, not technically, but just using this as kind of an analogy. When it's like US Open tough, I'm much better at tournaments like that where the score is closer to par, because there's whatever reason a birdie putt just doesn't go in for me, but a par putt does. People who can go nuclear, those are the golfers that I would trust at a tournament like this. Not so much even trust, but I would embrace that volatility when it comes to scoring. So if you've got a golfer in mind that has shot like 22 under, or who has gotten 27 birdies in a tournament, but maybe finished 12th or 15th or whatever, that's his best, find the upside guys who can go low, because that is something that I would look forward to in a tournament like this, more so than any other tournament. Like if we're looking at the Memorial Tournament, or we're looking at the Genesis Invitational, I'm not looking for those types of golfers. I'm looking for consistent golfers who, you know, can score but play when the conditions are tough, where I think this is going to be the conditions will be easy. So keep all that in mind when it comes to researching for this tournament. And quite frankly, I think that's all that I have for the course and tournament. So what we can do is take a look at the pass optimal and GPP winning lineups for this tournament. Now again, have to remind you, this isn't played at the same golf course, so you got to keep that in mind. However, I think that this field is very similar to what past fields were like. We have some, you know, high profile golfers that maybe have, like, here, let's just talk about it really quick. Ludwig A. Oh, I heard you, Byron, a bunch of times with Aubert. Or Oberg, as some fancy people like to call him, because they got the AOK to call him Oberg. Aubert, Ludwig Aubert, I almost called him Aberg. Ludwig Aubert, Cameron Young, Sahith Theegala, those three golfers. I mean, Sahith just won at the Fortinet Championship, which is, you know, finally that was his breakout win. Cam Young and Ludwig have not won on tour yet. So this is one of those, like, they're the two high profile golfers that when thinking about this event, we anticipate them doing well. This could be their breakout win. Kind of like with Victor Hovland. Well, Victor Hovland won the Puerto Rico Open and then he won Mayakoba. I think, you know, both of those golfers I think are great, but also so too is Sahith Theegala. So those three golfers definitely reign supreme over this field. We do have some other interesting names. You know, Lucas Glover has won on tour before, so too has Emiliano Grillo, and he's also played really good at events like this, especially on Paspalum. Thomas Dietrich, Puerto Rico Open, kind of was like, I can't remember his last two Puerto Rico Open finishes, but he does pretty well there. Akshay Bhatia, I heard someone talk about how, you know, his best finishes are in the Caribbean, so this wouldn't be too far off of that. I don't think that would be an issue, playing someone like an Akshay. And then of course Matt Kuchar, he loves these resort style courses. He loves, I mean, he's won Mayakoba before, and honestly in a tournament like this, I've got no issue with it. Now, the rest of the golfers, they're kind of your, you know, middle of the pack type of golfers. I should say this, Luke List just won recently also. I forgot about that. But Luke List had been playing fairly poor prior to his win at the Sanderson Farms Championship. He's coming in with some really good recent form, so I guess we can't discount him. But anyways, your high profile golfers are Ludwig, they are Cam Young, and they are Sith the Gauntlet. The rest of the guys, you know, B tier, C tier, C plus tier. And that kind of lends itself out. So what I'm trying to get at with all of this, that's very similar to past years. Like, I'm going back to 2018, and Ricky Fowler was our top price guy. Ricky Fowler back then, he'd obviously won, but he'd been struggling. You would have imagined he would have came into this tournament and won. Well, there you go, $11,800. That seems a lot like Aubert, $11,200, or even Cam Young. So the very first year we're looking at, I think that's fine. Again, if I were to, let me sort this by salary, top to bottom. Fowler, Pat Perez, Patrick Reed. Perez was a specialist at courses like this, so I think that is why, and he had won the year before. So I think that's why he was priced up so much. But you had Fowler and Patrick Reed. Patrick Reed isn't a slouch. I shouldn't even say that. We could probably say that now, but back then you wouldn't have called him a slouch. Like, I don't remember when he won the Masters, but it was around that time. And I think he had won other golf tournaments prior to that as well. So he would have definitely warranted a $10,000 price tag. Then you've got a bunch of names down here that are worth consideration. Bryson would have been worth consideration. Gary Woodland would have been as well. Even CH3, if you remember him. So we have a tournament very similar. Now, some of these other names are just like, who the hell are these guys? I'm sure if you're new to DFS golf, you might be like, what the hell? I've never heard Mean Wee Kim. Like, who the heck, Wee Kim? Who is this guy? You do see Luke List there, and there's our boy Emiliano Grillo. Either way, this is like every year. What my argument would be, if I were to go through this every single year, would be they're very similar. So I think we can use pass optimal GPPs as well, or pass optimal lineups and GPP winning lineups from this tournament to try to determine, you know, what kind of lineup builds we should be looking at. So let's start 2018. Obviously, I already talked about it. Ricky Fowler, $11,800. Then you had CH3 at $8,900. Then it dropped down to 7K, 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 and 6K. So just to repeat that in a different way, it starts with an 11K golfer, or what I like to call 10K golfer, because really you have an limited amount of people that are 10K and above. I'm not just going to make a random exception just for an 11K golfer. So it's a 10K golfer, an 8K golfer, 3 7s, and a 6. Now, usually if you follow along with me throughout all these tournaments or all of these videos that I go through, I always advocate starting with a 10K golfer, a 9K golfer, an 8K golfer, 2 7K golfers, and 1 6K golfer. Or faster way of saying that would be 10 9 8 7 7 6. Here we have a 10 8 7 7 7 6. It's making 2 substitutions, essentially. We don't have a 9K golfer, but we have 3 7Ks. The rest of it is the same. A 10, an 8, and a 6. So, because Fowler was $11,800, it kind of lent itself like you can't play a 9K golfer. And quite frankly, I guess the first 9K golfer I see is Ches Reavie down there, but we did have some other 8K golfers in there. So, I mean, you could have probably went 10, 8, 8. 776 possibly, and still would have done pretty well that week. So just doesn't look like a 9K golfer could have been used, or really should have been used. So going to 2019, the optimal lineup left a lot of money on the table, and it's not something that I would recommend. It left $6,300 on the table. Now, a realistic optimal lineup is leaving $400 on the table, and that actually starts with 2 9K golfers, 2 8K golfers, a 7, and a 6. So there you go. You have your 8, your 7, and a 6. That applies to both 2018 and 2019. No 10K golfer though. Now we do have 2 10K and above golfers here in 16th place. I bet you could have won a GPP playing those guys. I just don't have that tracked in 2019, but I think it could have been done. In 2020, yeah, it looks a little messy on my screen. Definitely years where I was experimenting with stuff. Your optimal also left $6,000 on the table. I certainly wouldn't have done that. Very difficult to leave that amount of money on the table. But your optimal lineup golfers, there was an 8K, 2 7s, and 3 6s. Yeah, that's, I wouldn't ever advertise for that. Instead, what I would say is always try to find the 10K golfer. Always try to find a 9K golfer just to see if you can fit it in. And then an 8. We have our 2 7s and a 6. This equals $49,100. That's probably difficult to get to. But it's, yeah, it's probably the only way to do it. I suppose what we could do, trying to find a way to build that line. I can't really use Matt Kuchar. That goes over the limit. Well, let's talk about the $1 GPP just to show you what they did. They did go with 11,400 Matt Kuchar. They went with $9,100 Scotty Scheffler. They also had $8,000 Harris English, 7K in Carlos Ortiz, 7K down here in Nick Taylor, as well as a $6,600 Adam Long. That actually was $50,000 on the button. That won a GPP. So 1098, 776. There you go. What I had just expressed, that's what the GPP winning lineup did. And you can see there's a lot of wiggle room. You see all these guys right here? Like, there's so many golfers that you could have chosen to have beat this $1 GPP winning lineup. And again, we could have started with Matt Kuchar, Harris English. Let's get these 3 guys right here, Todd, Ortiz, and Taylor. So you got our 776, we have an 8, we have 11.4. We don't have enough money for a 9K golfer, but we could also do another 8K golfer. Like Pat Perez, this would be 49.2. That's probably a little challenging to get to, if I'm being honest. I don't know, do we just go 10K? This is 49.1, that's hard. It's difficult to build lineups like that. Maybe we take out Vaughn Taylor and we put in Bryce Garnett. This is 49.9. So you would go 10.98, 7.77. Looks like I don't have Bryce Garnett's points. So, oh, I do, 86.5. Here, let me, the points are over here. Let me add this up just to show you. Very challenging to do this the way I am. So 657.5. Oh, that edges out the $1 GPP by 1.5 points. So the GPP was 656. You could have taken down a GPP by just doing the 1098 776 a different way. That's getting cute, but just showing you doing 1098 776 probably the way to go. Here in 2021, your GPP winning lineup left $300 on the table. And let's see, we had Victor, Aaron Wise, Hoagie, Horschel, Connors, and Damon. So more of a balanced build. 2 9K golfers, 2 8K golfers, a 7 and a 6. But again, you're seeing an 8, a 7, and a 6 in each of these lineups now. Your optimal lineup here was 2 8Ks, a 6, 7, 7, 9. So it's 9 2 8s, 2 7s, and a 6. Pretty close to kind of starting the 10 9 8 7 7 6 route. And I don't think we could. That's $600 over. So what if I change this from 88 to 83? That's 100 over. Suppose what we could do is like 78 to 72. So yeah, you can do something like this. 1098 776. I don't really know how many points this would have scored. Let's take a look. $699, and the GPP winning lineup scored 686.5. So yeah, you could have taken it down that way as well. And again, that's following a 1098 776 approach. So that's 2021. 2022 optimal left $700 on the table. Now, I know I chase the optimal. I know I preach trying to hit the optimal. We got to do it kind of in a realistic way. So every time that I build lineups, I usually kind of float between two price tags, like 49.2. You see my minimum salary here. I never really want to dip below 49.2. But sometimes when I'm not liking the lineups, I'll go 49.4. And I don't want to leave any more money on the table than $600 because it really isn't optimal, to be quite honest, building lineups that way. And I can explain that to you if you would like me to. $700 optimal lineup left on the table. That's in between that 49.2 and 49.4. So it kind of works. But that one starts with Victor Hovland at 10.9, Scotty at 99. Isn't that weird? 2 years ago, Scheffler was $1,000 less than Hovland. Although now that's kind of shifting again, where Hovland, it's going to be just about the same price tag as Scheffler, but kind of interesting. And then JT was more expensive than all of them. But anyways, we had a 10, a 9. I see no 8, so we have two 8Ks, or two 7Ks, I mean, and then two 6Ks, and that makes up your optimal. So it's a 10, 9, 7, 7, 6, 6, which is doable. It's something that I kind of talk about. Your GPP winning lineup had two 10K golfers in it, by the way. Victor Hovland and Abe Answer. 78, 76, 62, and a 68. So that's two 6Ks, two 7Ks, and two 10Ks for the GPP winning lineup. And that's your $5 GPP winning lineup. See if I can build something that's a little bit more palatable and closer to the 50,000 by also still taking down a GPP. So we have a 10K, 7. Let's go with... I'm going to go with Matt Wolff because he only scored 4 points less than Scheffler, and it gives us $700 in savings. Neiman. Let's go with Sergio. Can't. Too expensive. Can we do Mav McNeely by chance? This is like 6K on the button, so no. So I think we just have to skip the... We kind of have to skip the 8K range and just kind of go into the 7K. So now I have $7,600 left. Brennan Todd, maybe. This is 49.5. Shamo. That's overpriced. Yeah, so I guess we can't really do doesn't quite work. This works. This is 49.4. I don't know if I care for it though. Anyways, I'm not gonna bore you. I don't like any of those lineups. Doesn't look like you could really do it. Looks like you kind of got to get weird, a little weird with those lineups. Let's maybe if I went, so Scheffler scored 113.5. What if I went to the Gooch at 9K? 7, 6. I have 700 or 7,000 left. Brennan Todd? No. There you go. 49.4. Let's see what this totals up to be. And really, I'm just kind of going over this just to show you the different lineup builds. This is following the 10.98, 7.76, 682.5. The GPP winning lineup scored 680 points. So you would want a GPP going Victor, Carlos Ortiz, 78, 69, 9. There is no 8K. Never mind. That's a 10, 9, 7, 7, 7, 6 approach. Okay. Anyways. And then last year, looking at the optimal versus the GPP, and I also have a realistic optimal up there. So your optimal left $2,300 on the table. And that consisted of 84, 89, 93, 7, 7, and 69. So again, there's an 8K, a 7K, and a 6K golfer in the optimal lineup, which I think we saw every single year, maybe except for last year. But still good enough for me to kind of follow that going forward. And by the way, there's also multiple 6Ks that are inside the top 10 every single year. So maybe having two 6Ks in your lineup would actually be beneficial. And if that's the case, one other thing that I'm noticing, lots of $11,000 golfers up inside the top 10, inside the top 20. So if you think Ludwig is too expensive or you think Cam Young is too expensive, they aren't. In fact, I think if I'm building lineups, I'm probably targeting either one of those guys in 95% of my lineups. And I don't know which one it's going to be yet, but I have already started building lineups. Without leaving a lot of money on the table, it is very difficult not to play Ludwig Aubert. So it's probably what I'll be doing, if I'm being honest. Ludwig is probably the top guy, and I think this is a great breakout spot for him to win. This is an easy, it looks like an easy golf course, and a golf course I think he can thrive at. And I'm not going to sit out on Cam Young or Sahith Theegala. Those guys are also in the 10K range, so I have no issue playing those guys. Anyways, your GPP winning lineup left $500 on the table, and that was 2 8s. There's that $11,000 golfer Scotty Scheffler, a 7 and a 6. So again, we have our 8, our 7 and a 6, and another 6K golfer down here in David Lipsky. So 2 6s, an 11, 2 8s, and a 7. So very, very interesting with lineup builds. And the realistic lineup that I have is a 11K, 2 8s, 2 7s, and a 6. High 6. But again, there's a low 6 right there. So I think how lineup builds, especially with past GPP winning lineups, 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6 is definitely where you want to start. Do not be afraid to play an 11K golfer. I believe, let's see, what year was it that I can't really remember off the top of my head. Here we go. Matt Kuchar, look at this. In 2020, he was a part of the GPP winning lineup. He finished 14th place. And he was either the most expensive golfer or one of the most expensive golfers. Yeah, he was the most expensive golfer of the slate. And he was in the GPP winning lineup. So with a 14th place finish, mind you, which is all that's telling you is even if your 11K golfer doesn't hit, you still win a GPP. And they didn't even have the winner, Brennan Todd, in their lineup. So this is a fall series event. A lot of people don't play DFS golf during the fall. So you get, I mean, you probably get a lot of your diehards that are trying to get too cute, I would imagine. And everyone kind of flocks towards the same golfers. That's probably my take on it. Especially if your GPP winner didn't even have the winning golfer in the lineup. So, all interesting things. That's all I have. Really what I have with the past optimal and GPP winning lineups. Remember, this isn't the same golf course. It is the same tournament. It is the same prestige. You know, so I imagine, I take that as the same field, which when you look at the field of golfers in the event, pretty similar to past years. So that's why I've been going over a lot of stuff that we've learned in previous tournaments or previous Mayakoba tournaments. So that is my take when it comes to that. Let me catch up with chat. I saw some people come in that I have not acknowledged yet. Let me go back. So back 9 bets. Byron goes Trevor Cohn, Ryan Palmer, Peter Quest for AJ's question. Who is your sleeper picks? Yeah, I actually was thinking of. I looked at Ryan Palmer. He's in the first tee time of the week. I think that's fine. I kind of like it actually. Him being the first one out. I think he's old man Ryan Palmer. It's probably good for him. He can get his afternoon nap when he finishes. And then he also goes Tano Goya, Augusto Nunez are also 2 Argentines, nice and cheap. Yeah, I don't mind that either. Rose says hello, Sweet Spot. How's it going, Rose? Ryan, so who are the best Sweet Spot guys? I'll get to that, Ryan. I'll get to that when I go over like the marquee tee times. I'll talk about the rankings. Ludwig's number 1 in the model, just to let you know. I think Cam Young's number 3. And I don't like, that doesn't really mean all that much to me. Like, obviously Ludwig's going to be the number 1 guy. Yeah, Sahith's number 2. Cam Young's number 3. Surprisingly, I mean, look at this. Matt Kuchar's 4. JJ Spawn's 5. So, and Lucas Glover's 6. So that's not terrible. Let's see here. Rose, thank you. Hit the like button. Of course, that's always appreciated. I am the optimum with this mind of mines. What? That's pretty good. That's good. Ryan goes, I got 3 golfers to build around: Michael Kim, Nate Lashley, Kelly Craft. Wow. That's like kind of like digging at the bottom of the barrel. I will build lineups with that, Ryan, if that's what you want. No problem with that. Anna, ooh, spooky choice. Is it spooky but romantic by chance? Shelly Carden. Hey everyone. What's going on, Shelly Carden? What about both? What do you mean by that? We talking about like 2 golfers that I had said when I was going through all of that? Because I mean, I got no issue doing 2 10K golfers. We saw that in the GPP winning lineup. When was the last time Cam Young teed it up? Oh my God, before the Tour Championship. I mean, I think he was in the playoffs, wasn't he? Yeah, I don't have anything recent form. He has not played a fall series event. I think he was at the FedEx St. Jude, wasn't he? I'd have to kind of dig into the data outside of what I have right here. But I'm not too concerned. I mean, we just saw Colin Morikawa and Tom Kim come to these tournaments and win, and they really hadn't had any recent form to speak of coming into the event. What's going on, Paul? Nice to see you. All right. Let's talk briefly about the buckets. That's kind of the next thing to talk about when it comes to the sweet spot process, because we'll get into the marquee tee times here, which of course is looking at the best groups that are playing together. Because, well, I'll talk more about that when we get there. Anyways, I mentioned this in the intro. We had no tournament last week, so we can't look at last week. And if you want to follow along with me on the cheat sheet, again, there's a link in the description that I'll send you here. What I would suggest you do is follow along with me. I will put a filter on this. And basically, I'm going to go to this column here, the stat column, and filter out last week. Don't really need to look at that. Also, just to make you aware, course history is really tournament history. Since we're playing at a different golf course, we kind of have to treat this as tournament history. And I think it's fine. Quite honestly, I think it's fine. I don't think we're seeing, you know, a huge difference between last year's field and this year's field when it comes to strength of field, who continues to come back to this tournament. It's mostly the same types of guys. None of your true elite golfers are at this event. This is more of guys trying to make their cards, which obviously this year's a little different than it was in previous years, but it's kind of your, I mean, these would be Korn Ferry Tour graduates coming over here, rookies playing in this event. That would be like half of your field mostly, and that's kind of what we have in the field this year. And then you have like 3 tour pros that are, you know, at the top of their game but haven't won yet, and that's kind of what we have in this field as well. So we have a lot of the same. So I think looking at course history is going to be fine. And just to remind you, that is technically tournament history. And then recent form, salaries, and stroke gain stats. That's all things we've always talked about when it comes to the sweet spot process. Now, if you don't really care to listen to this, but you want to use the process, I have all of my projections that I'll be talking about here already built into the optimizer. It's all right here in these columns. So basically, you don't even have to listen to me talk about the buckets that I like, the golfers that are in the buckets that I like. It's already built in right here. And of course, you can modify this however you want. I also have a video on how to use the optimizer, how to change it to whatever you want it to do. But the whole sweet spot process is in the optimizer. And if you do want that, email me right there, SweetSpotDFS@gmail.com. Okay, let's go ahead. I really just want to look at the anchor buckets. Buckets that are telling me, hey, you want to select a golfer from this bucket no matter what. So in order to do that, basically go into this max projection column. I want to go filter by condition. And then I want to go greater than or equal to 2. My value is going to be 2. What that's going to show us is kind of this bucket here will always have 1 or more, which means you want to play at least 1 guy from this bucket, or consider at least 1 guy from this bucket. So what's really interesting Normally, when we look at last year buckets, we don't see last year 5 and last year 6. Sometimes, I mean, we see last year 6, but not last year 5. Last year 5 are golfers who missed the cut last year. Now there's also another filter that I usually do, but because I see a lot of golfers in most of these buckets, can't really put another filter on here. Normally what I would do is just go to the bucket totals for this year, select everything that's less than 30, which is only 2 of them. And that would be your 10K golfers and your stroke chain 2. So we really wouldn't have buckets to talk about, to be quite honest. Meaning I'm not gonna put that filter on, so we're gonna ignore this one. I don't know if I'm really comfortable talking about any of these. Let me check something really quick. Here's what I'm kind of concerned with. How these projections work is it's just kind of projecting how many golfers from these buckets you can expect to be inside the top 10. And obviously building a lineup where you're trying to hit the optimal lineup, like trying to hit the optimal by putting the golfers, okay, I butchered that already. Basically selecting golfers to hit the optimal lineup. The best way to do it is try to find all 6 inside the top 10, which I know is fool's gold a lot of times. But if you've got the tools ahead of you or in front of you with data, I think if you find the right, I would say this, if you find the right 3 golfers, the other 3, I think if you use the sweet spot process, they'll just funnel into your lineups, but you need to find the correct 3 and maybe possibly the correct 4. And that's all going to be gut feelings, honestly. The data is not going to tell you which ones those are that you should choose. But what I don't like about the projections right now is I think a lot of it has to do with how many golfers are in the bucket, because what the projections actually look at, looking at the success rate, looking at the strength of field points that go towards that bucket, and also the golfers that are in that bucket for this year. Those 3 things kind of get put together and create a projection. These are all high numbers, which I'm not a huge fan of, honestly. We can go back and take a look. Let me just double check something really quick. I want to see success rates. I want to see the best success rates. 29, 26, 21, 20. Let's do greater than 15. Yeah, so these are the buckets that I'm normally, like, if you follow this channel a lot, these are the buckets we typically see asking you to play at least 1 golfer from. Maybe not the salary 10s, but these 3 right here for sure. And obviously stroke chain 1, which are all stroke chain stats are positive, and stroke chain 2, which that makes sense. We saw that in one of the buckets, one of the anchor buckets we wanted to choose. But I think the projections aren't as good because the numbers are so small. Ugh. Well, you have to consider the amount of golfers in each of the buckets with the success rates that go with them. Again, these projections are already built in to the optimizer. So here, let's take a quick look. I might just scrap this part, to be quite honest with you. I didn't expect to see this, and I honestly didn't look at it before jumping on stream because I didn't think it was going to be this egregious. So I'm going to put a filter on the dream sheet. You guys can do this with me. We're going to look at last year 5s. I kind of just want to see what the golfers are in this bucket just to see if it makes any sense. Sure. None of your top golfers are here, but Adam Svensson's your top guy. Keith Mitchell, Mark Hubbard, Cameron Champ, Doug Yim, Callum Tarr. So here, I'll say this. If I'm building lineups, I'm actually okay anchoring around a lot of my lineups around people like Callum Tarran, Cam Champ, Mark Hubbard, even Keith Mitchell, believe it or not. I don't mind playing him at $8,800. Eric Van Rooyen. I do like CT Pan as long as he's not injured, which we can't really trust because he always seems to be injured. I like those guys. Like, there's a lot of guys that I don't mind playing, but I don't know if I would actually anchor around this. So here's what I'm going to do. Last year 5s, I have as 1. I'm changing it to 0. Just by looking at it, I don't like it. But I would suggest maybe not getting rid of that 1. Mostly because there's a 90% frequency rate, meaning every year but 1 year, a last year 5 has been inside the top 10. 60% frequency rate of being in the optimal lineup. So I believe I have 5 years of data. No, 6 years of data. Really? Yeah, 2017 of optimal lineups. 4 of those 6, we have seen golfers from this bucket inside the optimal lineup. That's kind of what this frequency rate means. So yeah, I mean, I guess I don't have an issue. I just don't like any of those names. Maybe I'm trying to argue against myself when talking about the buckets. Maybe I shouldn't. Anyways, last year's 6s, golfers who didn't play, I imagine this has a lot to do with just strength of field points. Like, we're gonna have a lot of good golfers in this bucket. Then Cam Young will be there, Ludwig will be there, Sahith maybe. Yeah, so Ludwig, Cam, Sahith, even Steven Yeager's there. So yeah, that makes sense. So starting with one of those guys, I think just makes sense, right? 1 to 4 is the projection that I have for golfers from this bucket to finish inside the top 10. Easy to think one of those guys will do it. Course history 3, remember this is tournament history, and this is middle of the pack tournament history. So it's, I mean, optimal lineup. There's a lot of golfers from this that end up being the optimal. So let's take a look. So these are golfers that have at least some course history or tournament history at this event. And the top of the list is Lucas Glover and some kind of gross names. I don't really care for Bo at this course. I know he's been playing well, but I think Gabe left me a message last 2 weekends ago, or 2 weeks ago, I should say. And he had said, yeah, I can't get there with Bo Hosler either. I had commented back, I said, man, I didn't even look to see what type of golf course this was, to see if it was like a birdie fest or if it was a grinded out par fest. It was a grinded out par fest, and that is exactly where Bo Hosler excels at. This is not. I don't think this golf course is going to be a grinded out par fest, so I'm not going to play a lot of Bo Hosler this week. Akshay I could get behind. Probably not going to get behind Chris Kirk. Ben Griffin I do like. I like quite a bit, actually. KH Lee I also really like. Same kind of goes with Cam Champ. A lot of these golfers I can get behind to play. So, yeah. For looking at course history 3s, I'm asking you guys to consider 1 to 4 to build your lineups around. And I think just going through a lot of that, yeah, I have no problem keeping this at 1 to 4. Recent form 3, that's middle of the pack recent form. That's, I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about that. We'll see what golfers are in here. Grillo, Dietrich, Akshay Bhatia. I think just those 3 guys alone, I can find reason enough to play them. Keith Mitchell at 88, Herbert at 84, Penrith at 8. Yeah, I have no issues. There's, again, Ben Griffin I already talked about. I said I don't mind playing Taylor Montgomery at this golf course. It's wide open. As long as he doesn't hit his ball into a hole somewhere, I think if it's the golf hole, that'd be great. But if it's a hole like, you know, off of the golf course, as long as he doesn't do that, I think he's going to play just fine at this tournament. And this is a course I think he can eat up. And then we have Cam Champ there, and a couple other names that we just saw in the previous bucket. So I like that. I like this bucket too. So I'll keep this as an anchor bucket as well. 1 to 3 recent form 3s, 1 to 4 course history 3s, 1 to 4 last year 6s. That makes sense because you have a lot of good golfers there. I'm not going to talk about the salary golfers, and I really don't care to talk about the strokes gained buckets. There's 3 of them. selecting at least one from each of them. That kind of makes sense. So let me just, yeah, I said I wasn't going to talk about it, but let's just go through it really fast. Strokes gained 2. Aubert is at the top. Again, I'm probably going to fade Beau Hosler. I don't mind playing Grillo. I don't mind playing Dietrich, Mitchell, even Lucas Herbert. I mean, where do you win? Bermuda? So another coastal, is that a coastal track? I can't remember. No. Yeah, I think so. Yes, it is. Bermuda, duh. So anyways, a lot of these guys don't mind playing whatsoever. Strokes gained 3. These are like your really good ball strikers who can't putt, basically. That makes sense. I've got no issue playing any of those golfers. And then strokes gained 4. Seth Theegala is up there, believe it or not. Kuchar. Goddard is interesting. We'll talk about him here when we talk about the marquee tee times, because he is playing with Aubert. And he's really the one that's hurting Aubert's group rank. They're not in a marquee tee time, but it's worth talking about regardless. Griffin, I like. Taylor Montgomery, we've already discussed. I don't mind Ryder, McNeely. So that would make sense too if you want at least one golfer from this bucket in your lineup as well. So those are kind of the anchor buckets. If you got any questions, leave them for me. Leave them in the live chat here. Leave them in the comment section. Basically, again, all that I'm doing is going over the anchor buckets, which are kind of telling you, hey, at least one guy is expected to make the top 10. Or at least there's one guy in this bucket that's going to be inside the top 10. It's just you have to choose which one. Of course, when it comes to our minimum projection, you always round down. So this will always round down to 1. When it comes to the max projection, you always round up. So if you heard me say this is a 1 to 3, that's because 2.3 rounds up to 3, 1.4 rounds down to 1. So 1 to 3, that's kind of how you read it. So those were the anchor buckets. We're going to get into the marquee tee times now, which again, if you want to follow along with, go to the cheat sheet. There's a link in the description. Put a filter on the dream sheet, which is what I have right now. Just go up to the filter, go to DraftKings. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to sort by the group rank. I didn't update it on my sheet to be color coordinated. So let's do that right now. Not so much color coordinated, but just to show you the golfers that are actually in the marquee tee times. So it's the best 9 groups in the tournament that are playing together. The golfers that are playing together. That is what comprises of the marquee tee times. I have their group ranks over here, and I'll highlight them every 3 golfers, because 3 golfers are in a tee time together, and those make up the marquee tee times. So basically what I am doing to figure out what the marquee tee times are is I'm adding up each of the sweet spot ranks and then rank ordering them from lowest to highest. The lower the cumulative sweet spot rank is for the group, the better the group is. And the number 1 group is Lucas Glover, Emiliano Grillo, and Akshay Bhatia. Now, why I go over this every single week is because every single week we find these golfers in the optimal lineup. That we find at least 2 of these golfers in the optimal lineup or in the GPP winning lineup. If I go to the Zozo Championship and I put a filter on this, obviously Collin Morikawa won this, and I go by my group ranks, you can actually find that 2 of the guys not only were, well, 2 of the guys were in the GPP winning lineup, but you see how the little green highlighted salaries, those were in the Sweet Spot Optimal. Now the Sweet Spot Optimal follows all the rules that I'm laying out to you right now. And typically what we see is 2 to 4 golfers are in the marquee tee times and also in the optimal lineup. We only have 1. Now it's Collin Morikawa. So that obviously failed. But can we build a lineup following those rules as well as the rest of the buckets to build an optimal lineup using the Sweet Spot process that takes down a GPP? So you had Collin Morikawa, JJ Spawn, Sung J M. 2 10K golfers and a 7K golfer. They were in the Sweet Spot Optimal. And if I go to 2024 and we take a look Your GPP winning lineup scored 537 points, left $300 on the table. You can see the Sweet Spot Optimal left $500 on the table. We just got to beat 537 and did we? 553.5. So yes, we beat it by 16 points. So again, now just so you can see who was all in the Sweet Spot Optimal, it would have been difficult to get to these guys. I won't lie. But there would have been nothing in the optimizer that would have said you could not build a lineup with these two golfers in it. So, pretty difficult to get to two low 6K golfers, but it was the Zozo, so it was definitely something that was doable. But yeah. Those were the golfers that were in the Sweet Spot Optimal. It does take down the GPP. I did also build a different Sweet Spot Optimal that I think was maybe a couple points behind. I think it was good for like 3rd place or something like that. And it did not use 2 low 6s. It did use one of them though. So it just goes to show, even if the Sweet Spot process is 100% correct, you still kind of have to think outside the box to build a lineup that's going to take down a GPP, because going with those two low 6Ks was never ever, like, if I saw that come across my screen, I automatically void it. And that's because of my own subjective feelings about it, my own subjectivity, I should say. Okay, so you want to select 2 to 4 golfers from here to anchor your lineups around. That's how I look at it every single year, or every single week, is what I tend to do. There's some really good names. I don't mind skipping past group 1. I don't like enough of those golfers to actually anchor around. I could anchor around Sahith. I got no issue anchoring around Sahith Theegala. I could also anchor around KH Lee. I've got no issue anchoring around him. Probably not so much Keith Mitchell or Lucas Herbert. I don't mind playing either of them, but I don't want to anchor around those guys. Likewise, Bo Haas or Ben Griffin, Maverick McNeely, they're all golfers I want to play, but not all that I want to anchor around. I don't mind anchoring around JJ Spawn, and believe it or not, I hate this guy most of the week, or most of the time, Taylor Montgomery. I don't mind anchoring around Taylor Montgomery. We also have Steven Yeager here that I like a lot. Cameron Young, no issues. EVR, I know there's a lot of popularity with him. I think this is a perfect golf course for him. Wide open. I think he could play well here. I like Caden Buckley a lot this week. I also like Zach Blair. I also like Thomas Dietrich and Marty Doe. Like, I like these golfers, and I want to build lineups around those golfers. So there's enough in there to anchor around. It's just trying to find the right people to anchor around. Now, one group I think is super interesting. And it's not so much a group. It's Ludwig. Ludwig has to play with Chris Gotterup and Ryo Ishikawa. Now, Ryo played well at the Zozo, so I understand maybe why. Chris Gotterup, by the way, I don't remember what happened to him, but the guy was someone a lot of people were trying to put in their lineups last year. I think it was like, maybe it's 2 years ago, really. I remember it was something like the Rocket Mortgage Classic. It wasn't last year where Ricky won, but it was the one year, the year before that. A lot of people, I think, were wanting to play Chris Gotterup there. The guy can smash it off the tee. Super talented. Obviously, my rankings aren't showing a super great, he's not being represented very great in the model because he really hasn't played any golf on the PGA Tour over the last year. So I also don't have course history for him or tournament history. I don't have anything on him. Nothing. So his score hurts, but his talent is really good. Like, it's good. So that group, it wouldn't, I don't think it's still good enough to be in an anchor lineup or a marquee tee time, because Ishikawa is still 65. I suppose Marty Doe is here at 61. So yeah, maybe it could have been, but Chris Gotterup wouldn't have gotten much love out of my model anyways. So, again, 2 to 4 golfers from the marquee tee times. We're going to be building lineups here shortly, and you're going to want to revolve your lineups, or at least take this into consideration, because I might call you out when we try to build a lineup that has 2 guys in the same group together. So if you liked, say, Theegala and Kirk, and you want to play them together, the optimizer is going to be like, nah, there's something wrong with this. And then I'm going to investigate, and I'm going to say, oh, they're playing together. We can't do that. Oh, we can override that if you want to. So, I guess without further ado, it was a little bit longer to get here, but we are here. Let's build some lineups. Give me 2 to 4 golfers. I know we have some up here already. So AJ has the first one. He wants Thomas Dietrich and Matt Kuchar in lineups together. And I think Ryan Henson, big our Colts fan, will be next after that. So if you want to see lineups here built, let me know. This portion of the video is going to go as long as you guys want it to go. So if we build lineups for 20 minutes and that's it, then we're live for 20 minutes. If we want to go longer, then we will go longer. But let's just double check some things. Yeah, last year 6, sure. We want 1. Course history 3, yeah, I remember we want 1. Same with the recent form 3, that's fine. 2, 3, and 4, yep, that's fine. Yeah, everything looks good. Yep, perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna change this to 49.2. And we want to lock in Dietrich and Kuchar. Which, Kuchar at 87, I like that a lot. So, first lineups spit out. By the way, the one that's on the screen right now, it's going to leave. That was the most optimal, just the raw SweetSpot optimal. Let's just call it that. So when we anchor on Dietrich and Kuchar, we get a lineup of Sahith Theegala, Dietrich Kuchar, Nate Lashley, Will Gordon, and Carl Yuan. Yuan, whatever. It's pretty good. I like that one a lot. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to waste you guys' time by copying and pasting over so many times. I think that's I don't know why I do that on stream, to be quite honest with you. I'm going to save these ownership projections or exposures over here so you guys can't see it. And let's go 100% all the way down. Let's go all the way down minus the 6K range. There you go. Perfect. Okay. So now I can save and just hit run optimize and not have to worry. So we'll do like somewhere between 5 to 10 lineups for each person. Unless, you know, people come in with requests to build more lineups, I will shorten that. But our next one is Glover, Dietrich Kuchar, Ryder, Kim Garnett. That is very interesting. I like that lineup. I don't mind playing someone like a Bryce Garnett at this event. He did win the Corrales Punta Cana not too long ago, and that is kind of a course comp to this type of golf course. Theegala, Dietrich Kuchar, Brandon Woo, Hayden Buckley, and Ches Reavie. I like that one too. I'm not going to shy away from a lot of these short hitters. I know there's a bomber narrative at this golf course, but you got to get weird with your lineups. So that's one way you can do it. Cam Young, Thomas Dietrich, Matt Kuchar, Brandon Woo, Hayden Buckley, and Ben Taylor. Don't care too much for Ben Taylor. He's burned me enough in the past that I'm just kind of over it, but this is a very good lineup. We've got a lot of scoring potential. I like it a lot. Steven Yeager, Thomas Dietrich, Kuchar, Woo, Lashley, Buckley. Love that one. That's a really good one. Will Gordon. I like that. Same lineup we just saw, but we put Will Gordon in there. I think that's fine. Shelly Carden, I know you live in Texas. Are you a Rangers fan by chance? Or were the Astros your team? Here's a lineup I like a lot. Thigala, Dietrich, Kuchar, Wu, Blair. Sign me up for Zach Blair, and then Ben Martin. I like Ben Martin at a course like this. Thigala, Dietrich, Kuchar, Taylor Montgomery, first time seeing him, Carson Young, Cody Gribble actually gets into this event because I think it was either Streelman or Joel Damon withdrawing. Yeah, it gets Gribble in here. Gribble sneakily is 58th in my model. He is the 134th golfer to be added to this field. Remember, only 132 golfers play, but obviously 2 withdrew. Gribble, he might go under the radar. I really like Cody Gribble this week in the 6K range. Jaeger, Dietrich, Kuchar, Montgomery, Wu, and Cone. Well, this is right up back 9 bets. Byron, his sneaky plays. Trevor Cone, I like it. I like Trevor Cone. I think of all the rookies, so if you follow if you do Rainmakers or anything like that, some of the easy cards to build value with are the rookie cards. So I've watched all of the rookies this year pretty close. And what looked like maybe Matty Schmid might come out and play well didn't happen. Although he's kind of making a resurgence. Evan Roy, the 30-some-year-old rookie, he played well for one event, and a lot of people were hyping him up. The guy can't keep it on, this might be a good tournament for him, but watching him at the Shriners, he was in the trees all the time. Every hole, he was way left or way right. He was playing with Lexi Thompson, and that's why there was a spotlight on him. But like, man, he couldn't keep the ball straight. Of all of the rookies, again, you had what? Kevin Westmoreland? I think it's a Kevin, but or Kyle Westmoreland. He doesn't really, he's not really doing anything. Even Austin Eckroad isn't doing much, but the one guy that is Trevor Cone. I like Cone. I got no issue. And if you are building Rainmakers lineups, I have no issue doing like an elite or even a legendary Trevor Cone as a captain. I think it'd be pretty good. Charlie Harden goes, no, I'm an Astros fanatic. Hate the Rangers. Oof. I've been hate betting against the Rangers and it isn't going well. And then AJ Loves there's like, Phillies killed me financially and emotionally. Hey, I'm from Minnesota. Okay. It's like our teams care more about the business side of things than they do. I mean, for the longest time they did. They care more about the business side of things outside the fan thing. Then we got Brett Favre, and that was more of a fan thing than it was whatever. And that was the closest we've ever been to a Super Bowl. But now it's back to being business, and dare I say, the Wilf family cares more about religion than it cares about success. And I think that's, I mean, I know Kirk Cousins is good and all, but the primary reason that I think he was drawn over here was because of his religion, if I'm being quite honest. I know he was a good quarterback, but we went way further with Case Keenum than we did Kirk Cousins. Just saying, just throwing that out there. Did I save this lineup? Because, yeah, I did. Hey, man. Our Twins almost got there. Charlie Harden, tell me the truth. When the Astros were playing the Twins, did you even sweat? Did you even worry? Was there and be real. You don't have to sugarcoat anything with me. I'm not a diehard Twins fan. But I just want to know what other people think of Minnesota sports from different states. Lucas Glover, Thomas Dietrich, Matt Kuchar, Sam Ryder, Harry Hall, and MJ Duffy. This is a lineup I don't like, but it could get there. AJ, this is a pretty good lineup. So those are 10 lineups. I am going to move. I'll build 2 more. I just want to see what, because this is kind of a good flowing structure. Yeah, I could do that one as well. I don't like that one. I really don't like that one. So yeah, there we go. There was 12 there. I'm gonna go ahead and replace your lineup with Ryan's, and then after that we're gonna go to Shot Like Harden's. Anyone else that's in the chat, including those that have already had me build lineups for, if you have golfers you want me to build lineups around, I will certainly do that. Let me know. We'll clear out the rest of the 6K range. Ryan, if you are in the chat, and I should have said this to you, AJ, if there were golfers you didn't like that I was like, ooh, this is good, you could have just, and really anyone, kick out, let me know who you like kick out of your lineup. So if you see the same dude keep showing up, so like Steven Yeager, for instance, if you didn't want Steven Yeager, just tell me kick Yeager out. Rose goes, I agree with you about Kirk Cousins because other teams shy away from Kirk because of his beliefs. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's also, I mean, Adrian Peterson was a freak. There was no reason not to get Adrian Peterson. Like, that was a really good fit for us, but he was also super into religion. I think that's one thing him and Ziggy Wilf connected on. I don't know. There's my dad is someone who really likes Kirk Cousins. I know a lot of other data nerds that I'm friends with that are Minnesota sport fans. They also really like Kirk Cousins. I just don't see any greatness in Kirk Cousins. If I'm being quite honest, I don't see a Super Bowl winning quarterback. And it has a lot to do with his personality and the way he plays football. I don't think there's greatness in him. But here I am in Minnesota doing a YouTube podcast. What do I know? AJ goes, as an Eagles fan, I've always respected the Vikings. Haven't paid attention to the Twins since Puckett. Yeah, I mean, most of us haven't. Well, Joe Mauer was a hometown boy. He was from Minneapolis, or the Twin Cities area. And when we got him and he became a franchise player, we thought we were going to go far with him. And then we overpaid him, which, hey, a homer like that would be super cool. I mean, that's like what you grow up in Minnesota, and I'm sure this is like for every other person in any other state. You want to be like the hometown hero, but like if you think about it, for Minnesota sports, the Vikings have not won a Super Bowl yet. If you could be that guy to help your team win a Super Bowl, especially if you're like, you know, the quarterback. But for Joe Mauer, he was a catcher, but a really good hitter. He could have brought his team to the World Series, like hometown hero stuff. Like, that'd be super good. I mean, like, that's just a dream come true. And then we had Adam Thielen with Case Keenum and Stephon Diggs. Like, man, we were so close. And then we play the Eagles. And I don't know what it is with Minnesota going to NFC East teams, but when we had Dante Culpepper and Moss and all those guys, we went to the New York Giants. And that was it was not our 98 year, it was like our 2000 year or something like that. And we lost 41-0. Very reminiscent of us playing against the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, when you follow like Minnesota Viking football for a long time, you kind of think the NFL does not want you to win a Super Bowl at all. I'm not a huge fan of, I think there's a lot of corruption in the NFL, so I'm not a huge fan of watching it like it's a legit sport. But that's just my 2 cents. Okay. AJ goes, thanks. Shy Harden goes, I didn't take Twins serious, only outside of Correa. They have 0 postseason experience. That's fair. Fair. Ryan goes, I know a guy that talks to Kirk Cousins and stayed at his house. That's cool. Charlie Harden goes, AP, I think, is the best running back of all time if we're just talking primes. Dude. Yeah. AP, the fact he came back from his ACL injury in like 4 months and then had a season breaking or a season record. Oh, Jesus, what the hell do you call it? Season breaking record? No. Record breaking season. Wow. A record breaking season the next year. Yeah, that guy is a freak. Crazy. Maurer and Murno. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Ryan. We're building lineups for you. Got on a little bit of a tangent there. Let's go ahead and lock in the 3 golfers that you said, which I already forgot. Kim, Lashley, and Kelly Craft. Why these 3 golfers, Ryan? Just out of curiosity. I got no issues against them. I'm just they're just random. They're super random. Gotta find the other guys. Lashley actually rates out really well for me in that low 7K range, so that works out. And then who? Kelly Craft. 6,800. Okay. I like it. Johan Santana. I know, dude. He was a stud. I accidentally went to a Twins game that was his retirement game. That was kind of cool. Got to see the ceremony. It was awesome. Who was the best Twins pitcher? I can't remember. Oh, that's why you said Johan Santana. Yeah, he was good. I can't remember his last name, but oh, his last name is Nathan. Joe Nathan, our closer. He was really good for those years that we couldn't get past the Yankees. But yeah, starting pitchers, Santana definitely was one of them. Can't think of anything earlier than that, though. And really, I can't think of anything good after that. Anyways, when we start with those 3 guys, Ryan, Kraft, Lashley, Kim, we get O'Bear, Chris Kirk, and KH Lee. Ryan, I want you to tell me which golfers to kick out whenever we get through, when we go through this. I'll build you 10 lineups. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to guess before you tell me, but I want you to still tell me which guys you want me to kick. So just keep track, because these 3 golfers, they're always going to be like the low end versus the other 3, just because you chose 3 cheap guys. You let me know. I would kick out Chris Kirk before I kick out KH Lee, but if you think differently, you let me know. So I'm going to kick out Chris Kirk, but I do like this lineup, by the way. Charlie Harden says, one of the craziest things I've heard AP first came back after knee injury is he could feel the scar tissue breaking loose. He was running. Oof. That's so weird. And then he just kept running. Like the horse that he was. So Ryan says kick KH Lee, which I will go back and kick. We have O'Bear, JJ Spawn, Ben Griffin. I love this lineup. This is a great lineup with those 3 guys in it. I guess we get the same thing when we kick KH Lee out. O'Bear, Spawn, Griffin. Did I already save this one? Yep, I did. So I'm going to kick out JJ Spawn. You let me know if that should be different. O'Bear, Batia, Montgomery, Kim, Lashley, Kraft. That is a good lineup. I like that one. Ryan says Ben Griffin. Look at that. I'm 0 for 2 on kicking people out. Ben Griffin. There you go. Obear spawned Davis Riley, Michael Kim, Nate Lashley, and Kelly Craft. That's an interesting lineup. So we're replacing Ben Griffin with Davis Riley. Do we like Davis Riley? I guess I don't have an issue against it, if I'm being honest. Just gonna make a little cut here just so I know where the new lineups start. Let's kick out Riley since you've been kicking the 7K guys out. Now this is the time where you actually say JJ Spawn, which would be funny. I'd be 0 for 3. Obear, Batia, Montgomery. I think we saw this, right? We did. So let's kick out. Oh my god. You probably want Taylor Montgomery, I imagine. It's a tough decision. I'm not sure who I'd want kicked out. You like Spawn? Yeah, I think Spawn. This is a good spot for Spawn. Glover, Dietrich, Matt Kuchar, Michael Kim. So now we are actually including Dietrich and Kuchar from the previous lineup builds that we had to make a mega lineup, a mega community lineup right here. Is anyone else on? Is anyone on Lucas Glover? Oh, really, Anna? you know Akshay Bhatia? I don't think he was in any of your classes, by the way. Just throwing that out there. You want to kick Obear out? Why kick Obear? I mean, we can do it. I got no issue with it. Kick him out. Let's see. I do need someone kicked out of here between Glover, Dietrich, and Kuchar. We can always like we can bring one of them back in at a different time. Met him at a party once. He was a terrible dancer. He does look like he would be a terrible dancer, if I'm being honest. Look him up. Google him, Anna. Akshay Bhatia. He might have a waist size of 24, if I were to guess. And you spell his name how it sounds. Akshay Bhatia. You can't get it wrong. I'm gonna go ahead, Ryan, and I'm gonna kick him. I'm gonna kick you going to be chalky? I kick Glover. You think Glover's gonna be chalky? Oh, Obear's gonna be chalky. Okay. I get what you're saying. Yeah, I think he is, but I think it's for a good reason. No, it wasn't back at school. It was a few years after Masters grad party event. Cool. The story is even more believable the more you talk about it. Cam Young, Bo Haas, or Michael Kim. Brandon Wu, Nate Lashley, Kelly Craft. Do you like this lineup, Ryan? I don't mind it. Can't say it's my favorite, but different. Brandon Wu, do we want him kicked out of here? I'm not gonna play a lot of Bo Hasler, but I do want to save it just because. So I'm gonna kick Wu out. Rose said, I'm going 2 6K golfers. I think that's really good too. We don't play Donkey Chonk. That a good, or Donkey Chalk. That a good one. Yeah, but isn't what's his name? What's his name? Degen? Isn't until we do. Isn't Degen, his big thing is we don't play Donkey Chonk in the 7K range. Like that's the big no is don't play. And I kind of, that is a trend that actually sticks. Who is the Donkey Chalk in the 7K range? I have no idea. I don't keep track of that stuff. Who is, what's the highest Wu Donkey Chonk? Oh, okay, so it's Brandon Wu. Same as the Big Hoss. That's cool because I don't care to play Bo Hasler ever, except for when the score's closer to par. The winning score's closer to par. So we don't like Bo Hosler. That's cool. I don't like Bo Hosler either. Here's another interesting lineup, though. Nick Hardy gets put in here with Kim, Lashley, Kraft, Cam Young. Sure. These are lineups that I probably would never play, and I like to include these into my like actual DFS lineups because you kind of got to be different in order to win a GPP, and there's no way I'm thinking of pairing Bo Hosler up with Nick Hardy. And quite frankly, Lashley and Kraft, and Kim, those 5 golfers, I don't think I'd ever like put together in a lineup out of just like consciously. Yeah, so the 6K range, probably not a good place to play Donkey Chalk either, but you know, the whole adage that I usually say is don't fall in love with a 6K golfer, but don't respect one either. Taran is the Donkey Chalk at 7. Oh my god, he is so... Well, with good reason. Like, the guy is... This is like a perfect spot for him. Guy can go nuclear. He can score a lot of birdies. And obviously this is a game of scoring, you know, DraftKings points, which birdies outweigh pars. Yes, it sucks playing Donkey Chalk at 7K. I get burned trying to break the trend. Ah. So you're trying to play the Donkey Chalk 7K because you're like, well, screw it. I don't care what people say. I'm just going to do it. I need 10% tip when you take down GPP this weekend. Oh, really? Really? Okay. AJ goes, I feel like there's always 2 guys you have to play regardless. That's true. And that's why. So like the game theory people out there who are like, yeah, you got to look at ownership all the time, always lose when the people who say, yeah, well, in the top 5 of ownership, there's always 2 guys in the top 5 of ownership that are in the optimal lineup, not just a GPP winning lineup, but in the optimal lineup. So the game theory boys always lose to those guys, but then the bankrolls of the game theory boys always beat out the people who say, you know, well, what about Donkey Chalk? You know, like I'm gonna play these 2 guys regardless. But yeah, I mean, like I said earlier in this video, if you find the correct 3 golfers to build your lineups around, which I think there's someone who follows this channel who's followed it for a very long time who I think had the best way of saying it. You kind of have to mix 50% art with 50% data. And I think the 50% of art is finding 3 golfers that you have a good feeling about and mixing them in with 3 golfers that fit the models, fit the trends. And I kind of like 2 guys, in my personal belief is like, I think if you're going to find 3 golfers to anchor around, I think you find 2 that you really like. And then the 3rd one follows a model. And then of the remaining 3, I think they just have to fit in like dominoes. And that's what I like about the SweetSpot process, especially this optimal lineup builder. So you find me the 3 golfers that you would like to build around, or say you have 2 golfers and then a pool, like a 5-player pool that you want your 3rd golfer to come out of. That might be the best way to do it. Maybe I should think about trying to create something like that in the future. Anyways. Almond Bread comes in with Donkey Chalk, Taylor Pendrith, Peter Quest, Colin Tarrant, Carson Young, Cameron Champ, and Vincent Whaley. Yeah, I'm sure Vincent Whaley is chalk because of Rick Run Good talking about him, I imagine. That was such a random name to bring up. But hey, I think Vince Whaley is worth consideration. Carson Young, interesting. I don't mind that. I can stay away from Taran. I could stay away from Pendrith, although I think this is a good course for Pendrith as well. Good to know, though. Not to be an extreme smartass here, but the thing you said there, Shot Like Harden, you can play chalk just to have 1 or 2 really low, and guys, you can play chalk as long as they hit. You know, like that's the smartass answer to that. If the chalk is the 2 or 3 correct golfers that are in the optimal or in the GPP winning lineup, those are the guys you want to play that are chalk. which is, you know, that's like a John Maddenism, obviously. The point of scoring points is to win the game. Like, yeah, we know. 15%. Oh my God. Carson Young is really 15%. Why is Carson Young? Is this like all the websites that people are going to? Carson Young, for some reason, is really good at the Puerto Rico Open and the Corrales Punta Cana and all those other coastal golf courses or tournaments that have Paspalum. Is that why Carson Young is playing? Is that why he's so owned? That is correct, Shot Like Heart. I think that is the biggest thing that people fail to talk about, like the top end guys, like your Pat Mayos and your Rick Run Goods. If you don't play the correct chalk, you will not min cash. I absolutely 1000% agree with you. If you're not playing the correct chalk, you will lose more money than you would be just pivoting. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess that's one and the same, isn't it? Like, if you're just pivoting to be a game theory bro, it's like you're gonna pivot off the best chalk. That's probably not the right thing to do, and you shouldn't pivot off all chalk. Obviously, that's what we're all talking about. But anyways, yeah. How many times have you had 6 of 6 through the cut, and you're barely hanging on to min cashing, or even not min cashing? I've had 4 of 6s, and I've even had a 3 of 6 that had 1st, 2nd, and 5th place that min cashed, with my other 3 guys not making the cut. But of course, 1st, 2nd, and 5th, that's a lot of points, but isn't, like, that's nuts. Like, that's kind of what birthed the whole sweet spot process, the whole targeting the optimal lineup, is because if you truly want to win a GPP, you should be aiming for perfection. I can't wait to get... Hey, by the way, guys, I have 1 task left to do in my database, and it's completed. It's finished. I should be able to finish that in the next couple weeks. So I will be messing around with reports, because those reports get published to the website, and that's how you would get your data. That's how Rick Run Good does his stuff. Is he has a database that he creates reports from, and those reports are what you see, and that's what the sliders that you have and stuff like that, that's what you get. So we're close. Anyways, Ryan goes, Carson Young gets mistaken for Cam Young. People click wrong name on Optimizer all the time. Is that true though? Like, I don't necessarily disagree, but it's like, how many what do they call it? Casuals are playing right now, like DFS golf right now. I don't feel like a lot of casuals are. They're all in the NFL scene. I would have a hard time thinking that they're thinking it's Cam Young, but I could be wrong. Almond Bread, any Russ Knox truthers? I don't mind Rue Knox here. Depends on tournament though. How many 66 through and vice versa. I agree with you too. When I won my GPP, I just played recent form and didn't watch any content. I just went off my gut, who was playing well for a few months when Montgomery was red hot. Was that the American Express? Did you win it there? Because that was probably one of his better performances at that time. I don't watch those guys. Pat, I watch Rick, but I pick my own picks. Yeah. I used to watch Pat religiously because I wanted to know the information of the not very well-known guys, and he did a really good job of finding the diamonds in the rough that you could just mix in with people. I liked watching it then. I don't care for the characters that are on the show anymore. I really don't. And a lot of it's game theory, you know, like 2v2s. If I'm talking about, you know, like Toteg and Tambo, the 2v2s, going with the 3v3s, like who are you gonna, you know, I don't care for that stuff. I really don't care. All the, like, This is going to sound very conceited, and I'm sorry. I apologize if I offend anybody. But I think I know more than anyone else that's doing YouTube content. Like, I'm just not getting, like, I'm not gonna bore you guys with, like, how important strokes gain stats are, because I know the flaws that are in strokes gain stats. And when people are trying to sell it to you, you got to know when you're being sold to. And it's like, I just don't care for that. I don't care for it. So the people that have their own sites that are trying to sell their site to you, like, and they're saying, this is the most important thing, here are my correlation things. If you don't know what they're talking about, you're just sucked in. And that's what I feel like most of the people are doing. But anyways, yeah, that was kind of a pivot that didn't need to happen. But anyways, last fall, Tiamat was still hot. Yes, he was. He brought that all the way into basically the match play, and then he fell off. Match play is what broke him last year. Okay. Cam Young, we don't want Hosler, right? That was the thing. Don't want Hosler. Love that. Thank you, Charlotte Carden. I learned that watching all the content. I was just picking their narratives. I'm trying to connect that to your last message. I don't know if that's just a continuation or what I was just talking about. I learned that watching all the content. I was just picking the narratives. Oh, yeah. Pick Bo for sure. All right. I did, for sure. And I'm with you. I don't like seeing his name in lineups, but here we are. Sith Thigala, Thomas Dietrich, Doug Gim. Hey, how do you feel about that? This is a pretty decent lineup. I don't mind this. 10-9, 3 7s and a 6. We saw that as an optimal twice, I think. I don't mind it. Who do you want kicked? Gim, Dietrich, or Thigala? Joanne joins the chat. What's going on, Joanne? Haven't seen you in a long time. Being honest is priceless. Gim's awesome. Okay, cool. I'll save the Gim lineup. Who do you want kicked though? You want Dietrich kicked? Pick Dietrich. Okay. And we replaced Dietrich with Grillo. Do we like that? Do you like Grillo this week, Ryan? D-Gen is a goat at showdowns. Yeah, and you know, I do like D-Gen's he's genuine, right? I think he's doing that as a genuine person. He's obviously also trying to sell product. But I don't think that's his main thing, is to try to sell you a product. I think what he does is just, it's truth. Like he's being truthful with what he preaches. I haven't seen a lot of his stuff recently though, so I just remember like watching a little bit of it around the Tour Championship, I think. So Grillo is solid. Okay. Yeah, I don't mind that. I mean, it's good to have like a solid core. And if it was like Thigala with these 4, I think that's fine. And then these 2 could be interchangeable. Because I'm not like super sold on Grillo or Gim, but we'll do that. I'll kick Grillo out. Unless you want Gim kicked, you let me know. Actually, I probably should kick out Gim. Primarily because we're running out of 9K golfers and 10K golfers to build lineups with. Actually, let's just kick out Grillo and see what it does. We'll force it to do some things. DGen has best projections. I haven't even looked at his projections. I know you've been trying to reach me and try to put his projections into my stuff, or the buckets in with his projections. I think the best way to do it is if you were to copy and paste over either my stuff to his or his stuff to mine. I think it's probably the best way to go about that. Cameron Young, Justin Suh. Okay, so now we get 2 8K golfers here, which I'm also a fan of. This lineup here kind of reeks of grossness, or as the Miz, who is the wrestler that says reeks of awesomeness? Was that Christian? That was Christian a long time ago, wasn't it? Justin Suh, Lucas Herbert, Michael Kim. Let's see, who do we want kicked out of this one? We want Suh, Herbert. Oh yeah, no, hey, so I don't mind doing a collab whatsoever. It's just I don't have enough time to go out of my way to do these things. I kind of, I have a set schedule and things that I do. Tuesday nights are usually pretty open for me to do this kind of thing. Monday nights are also, but I won't lie, it's been really nice not podcasting Monday night, and just being able to relax and put all the data stuff together. And it's really nice to come out here and do the live stuff Tuesday nights, because I think like this kind of stuff where I get to talk to you guys and you get to talk back despite just through text. This is the thing that I like about streaming in general. Like, I watch video game streamers, and the interaction between chat and what they do is why I watch it. And obviously just to have something as background noise and just whatever. I don't really care so much how well they're doing in the game, but it's fun. Trying to gather my thoughts. What was I getting at right there? Oh, time. Yeah, I don't have time to like put that stuff together. SweetSpot Tiger Woods golf course fixes all golfers. Tiger Woods golf? Oh, courses fixes all golfers. Elaborate. What do you know that we don't know? Oh, Kiksa. I'm sorry, Ryan. I did not see that. And in no way was I trying to brag about my GPP. I won enough to get a car I desperately needed off a dollar bet. Was extremely lucky and grateful. That is awesome. Congratulations, man. And I don't know. You know what's kind of backwards about the world is like, that should be celebrated. Like, congratulations for winning that. And in no way should you feel like that's bragging. Like, just stating the fact that you won a GPP. That's awesome. Like, state that stuff, and wear it as a badge. Don't be afraid of. Too many people in this world, too many people in this country wish they had things they don't have and get really mad at people who get things that they wish they had. It's like, dude, sometimes it's just luck. Sometimes it's hard work paying off. Like, hey, congrats, man. My brother is building a tool for NFL, and we are taking everyone's projections and taking the averages and putting it in the tool. That's awesome. That's good. Yeah, exactly, Charlie Harden. That's badass, bro, and you should brag. Absolutely. I find it pretty cringe when I hear people go, "Ugh, I can't believe you're bragging about that," or "must be nice." Like, yeah. Wouldn't the world be better if we congratulated or celebrated people for the accomplishments they had, as opposed to trying to knock them down because of the stuff we don't have? It'd be a better place, right? and then Ryan has to come in and do that. Yeah, I think Ryan, the cool one was the Mayo Open. That was a good one. You also had a good lineup in one of the bigger ones, either the 50-cent one or maybe the $5 drive the green. I think you were like somewhere inside the top 20. I remember following that for a little while. I know, and I think your lineups were like, you just needed I mean, you got the right thing to happen for the Mayo Cup, but I think if you were to have the other players like Fleetwood or whatever to play better or to win that tournament, you would have done better in the other tournament. So anyways. So I would say this though, Ryan, I wouldn't be the type of person that says, oh, you won one, so did I, you know, like, but hey, it's pretty cool. Like, it's definitely an accomplishment, especially if you put the hard work into it and you actually pick the golfers that you want, and they're the ones that perform well. Absolutely. The $5 drive the green, I need Fleetwood would have got me. Yeah, see, I remember seeing that. I remember you were gonna win one way or another. You had the nuts for the lineups that you, or for the two lineups you had. Cam Young, Kirk, Lucas Herbert. Do we want to kick any of these guys out? I mean, I like Young, I like Kirk. I really don't care for Kirk if I'm being honest, but I really like Herbert. I would personally kick Kirk. I just don't know he's gonna score low. And actually, you know what? We haven't seen him in a long time. He can be a wild card, but I still want to kick him out. You let me know. The 72-footer, I'm guessing, was Nick Taylor, which screwed me. I was in second in the drive the green going into Sunday and needed Fleetwood to win. And oh yeah, that's right. You did have Rye. I can't remember if it was one of those videos that, like one of the live streams that you said that, or if you were. I remember that. You needed Rye to do better. I think we all kind of needed Rye. I think I had a couple lineups that had Rye in it that kind of sucked. It's kind of, so you want to know something I'd be really interested in tracking is how many GPP winners, like where did they start out? You know, after Thursday, where were they in the money? Did they have any money? Oh, you had CT Pan instead of Rye? Well, CT Pan was okay, right? CT Pan did well somewhere around there. I can't remember. Anyways, I want to track GPP winners. How much money were they winning after Thursday? How much money were they winning after Friday and Saturday? The GPP that I won the quarter arcade, which I think I got $400 for or something like that. That I won in the last, like I went from 100th or 200th place, just cashing $2 or something like that, to winning that GPP in a matter of 4 holes. I think Jason Day of all people, Charlie Carden, you know my my affliction with Jason Day. He was in my winning lineup, and I think he eagled one of the holes, and that pushed me up to like 30th place. And it wasn't until like I noticed Jason Day was winning that I looked at my DraftKings lineups and I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And I looked to see what I was winning, where I was winning it. And I'm like, what the? This is such a random lineup. I don't remember what it was. I think I built it on stream. Like it wasn't anything special. It was just like, what the heck? CT was like 3% owned. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I think I was probably a CT Pan truther that week also. I mean, CT Pan is one of those guys. If Gabe was here, he went to the Wells Fargo Championship, I believe it was that one. The one at Quail Hollow. Is that Wells Fargo? I think? I don't remember. He went to that event and he's like, yeah, I don't know about CT Pan. He's got a lot of kinesiology tape. Kinesiology? Yeah. I think that's what it is. Kinesiology. I think that's what it is. Kinesthetic? No, I think that's right. But he had that tape on his wrist, on his arm, and he's like, hey, he's not looking good. And I'm like, I don't know. I kind of want to play him. And then he finished top 10 that week or something like that. My GPP, I was in top 5 all weekend because I was the only one to pick John. Huh? Yeah, he goes it close to his house. Oh, you're talking about Gabe? Ooh, I like this lineup. Thigala, Batia, Herbert. Like, sign me up. That's a pretty cool lineup. Okay. That, I'll do one more lineup. Let's kick out. Kind of have to, let's kick out, Herbert. Last lineup, Ryan. We can do some more later, and then it breaks. So we have to have Herbert in it. How about Batia? Do we kick Batia out? Can we build a lineup that way? Nope. So we already ran out of lineups. I didn't even have to say it was the last lineup. The optimizer told me it was already time. Funny how that works out that way. I believe Shaligharden is next with his guys. He had two 10K golfers. I can't remember what they were at the top of my head. Trying to find it. Got it. Obear and Thigala. Love that. If I see it right, I believe Joanne is next when it comes to lineups. Is anyone else prior to that? Here, this is what I'm gonna do. Never mind. I'm gonna lock in him, see what happens. We have Ludwig, Thigala, Brandon Wu, Harry Hall, Hayden Buckley, Patton Kazire. Ryan, thanks for coming in. Good night to you, sir, and good luck. Yeah, let's have one of us win a GPP. Obear, Sahith, Brandon Wu, Harry Hall, Buckley, Kazire. It's kind of gross. Not gonna lie, it's kind of gross. But maybe it's the gross that we need to consider. Kazire is getting kicked. Obear, Thigala, Nick Hardy, Brandon Wu, Hayden Buckley, David Lingmerth. You know what? You remember, I can't remember, was it in the spring of last year where, was it the Houston Open, maybe? That Lingmerth was doing things? That looked like he'd be a good choice. Can't remember. I think it was one of those Texas events. Could be wrong. I don't think I'm gonna save this one though. Obear, Thigala, Wu, Lashley, Buckley, Charlie Hoffman. What do we think about Hoffman? We're getting a lot of Brandon Wu, Nate Lashley, and Buckley. Do we want any of those guys kicked out? I agree, Almond Bread. Lingmerth is only a play on certain tough courses. Kick Buckley and Huffin. Oh, he was already kicked. Okay. Bad back Hoffman. Okay. Obear, Thigala, Wu, Will Gordon, Lipsky, Marty Doe. I don't mind that lineup. I'll save it. That's fine. Wish I could click Danny Lee. He is a guy that I always thought I was going to be cute with. Not like, you know, personally, but like putting him in my lineups. And then he would withdraw out of nowhere. Or he would do something stupid like go for the green when it was like 280 yards away and put in the water, like almost didn't cup it. Lipsky and Doe kick. All right. When he gets back to Lipsky, I'll kick him out. I don't care for this lineup. Do you like the Korean Cowboy this week, Charlie Carden? Woo, Merritt, Harry Hall, Ben Taylor. These lineups they're kind of gross. Yeah, 6 putt the last hole on Friday to miss the cut. Oh, I probably crapped on that lineup too, Charlie Carden, my bad. Just my feelings. Michael Kim, Will Gordon, Zach Blair, Ches Reavie. I don't mind that one. That one's interesting. Always like the Korean Cowboy? Okay. I actually do like him this week quite a bit. Okay. I don't mind this lineup. I think minus Harry Hall, but I like Ben Martin and Zach Blair in the 6K range. Aubert, Thigala, Lashley, Merritt, Will Gordon, Carson Young. Do we want to eat the chalk here? Not a terrible lineup. I don't mind it. Especially with maybe Troy Merritt coming back and, you know, being a little bit his old self. Not terrible. Aubert, Thigala, Riley, Wu, Gordon, Andrew Landry. Interesting. I don't mind Andrew Landry. Brandon Wu is showing up a ton. He might be the glue that puts these lineups together, but do you want me to kick him out just to see what happens? Personally, I would like to see like... Oh, you wanted to select this craft just naturally, right? That's the whole thing. See if we can get some good vibes going on. I'll say this. I don't think Kelly Craft is getting selected until we like thin out a lot of these golfers. I'll never do Paul Haley. I think he's good enough to be on tour, but I don't think he's good enough to win. Or even like top 20, top 10 really. AJ, it seems like Woo. I always look to see who it always picks each show. Have you been tracking it? Has it... You know what? Like, I do notice it too. I notice it more when it selects someone that I don't care for and that I choose not to play. I'll always remember that name when they do well. I never remember it when it does poorly, when that golfer does poorly. I always remember when it does well, and I always think to myself, I need to play that guy. Whatever the optimizer selects, I need to play that guy because it was right that one time. But yeah, let me know. Almond bread, Kraft will break your heart. Yes, I agree. So too will Brent Grant. But this is a great course for Brent Grant to do his thing. Harry Hall. Do we like Harry Hall enough to keep him? Charlie Carden, I almost want to kick him. Just because I can't trust Harry Hall. But if you like him, I'll keep him on. I'm gonna say. All in good form. Okay, fair enough. Did I save this one? Sure did. Kick Gordon. Okay. Obear, Thigala, KH Lee, Lashley, Lipsky, Fratelli. I can't do Fratelli. There's no way. You know what I'm gonna do that I forgot? This one's okay. Riley Hall, you wanted Lipsky kicked. I'm gonna save it, and then I'm gonna go and change Nunez back. I'm gonna open this up to the low 6K range to have 2 low 6K golfers. Eckroat question mark as in like, what are my feelings on Eckroat, or Eckroat try to put him in this lineup Eckroat? Well, I didn't even have to say, there he is. He just shows up naturally. Is this a sign? Do we play James Hahn this week? I know Shot Like Harden's into that kind of superstition stuff. What if Eckroat would have shown up with, like right after Almond Bread says it? Eckroat shows up with Kelly Craft. Would you just be freaking out saying that that was going to be the GPP winner? Probably, right? And Harry Hall in it. Oh, I was going to kick out Lipsky. My bad. I know you too well. I know you too well. Obear, Thigala, Eckroat, Merritt, Lipsky, and Hickok. Do we like Hickok enough to keep him in? Nah. Wait, was Kelly Craft in that lineup? No, just Eckroat showed up, right? Ooh, Duffner. I don't mind playing Duffner. I don't think I want to mix Duffner with Merritt and Duncan, though. Like, I feel like these 3 golfers are the same. Like, Duffner, like, if you were to say someone was going to, out of these 3 golfers, it was guaranteed someone was going to get a top 10, another guy was going to get 60th place, and another guy was going to miss the cut. I would feel pretty comfortable if someone were to tell me one of the, like, these 3 golfers, this is your group of golfers that are, one will make a top 10, one, I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. Because one of these guys is probably going to get a top 10, but I don't think all 3 of them are going to get a top 10. I don't even think 2 of them are going to get a top 10. If that's the case, I don't want, I wouldn't want to put them all together. Like, that's a gross lineup. To me, it like has a very little upside. Okay, can we do the big rig? Are we doing Harry Higgs? Evan Yu, who a lot of people not too long ago got their hearts broken. He was the donkey chalk that missed the cut. I remember DGen gloating about it on the Twitters, or on X, I should say. Personally, I don't like Michael Kim that much. What are your feelings on it, Shot Like Harden? Do you want me to keep Michael Kim in here? I'd rather kick him, if I'm being honest. I am going to kick him, and I'll wait for your response. I don't like McGreevy enough. But KH Lee was there with Harry Hall. Piercy. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Since I've already seen it a couple times, KH Lee, I'm going to lock him in because you like him. He has been showing up with Harry Hall a lot. So that means that's a comfortable thing for the optimizer. I want to see if Kelly Craft shows up. Ryan Brem, I don't mind that. Party Marty, hey, sign me up. Should have saved that one. Actually, I like that one. Ooh. We get a creative golfer in here with Isidro Benitez. KH Lee, Lashley, Harry Hall, Adam Long. Yeah, I think it's a sneaky play. Oh, come on. I don't want to see. Why is it selecting 3 7Ks? There's no way. Yeah, 1 to 3. Brian Stewart, remember when he was good? There's our boy Kyle Westmoreland. I was just talking about him earlier. I can actually get behind this lineup. I'm gonna save it. So what hasn't happened that I'm trying to get happen, Charlie Carden, is for Kelly Craft just to show up naturally. And it isn't happening. This is a lineup I could actually get behind. I got no issue with that one. I'm trying to make KH Lee with Harry Hall work. Ryan Palmer, Scott Harrington. It's not terrible. All right, 2 more tries. Come on, Kelly Craft. Come on, Kelly Craft. It's not gonna do it. Okay. Sometimes, you know, if you want a result, you just got to do it yourself. So let's do it. Can you do that lineup? Merritt U. Laird Craft. Almost sounds like a question. Merritt U. Laird Craft? Kelly Craft just reminds me of The Craft. Isn't that a witch movie? The Craft? I think it is, right? Just called The Craft from the 90s or early 2000s. Pretty sure. You get a party in there because it's Halloween. Kelly Craft of The Craft. There's merit in that lineup. You know it. And we anchor around Obear and Thigala. See, it works out. We just built our narrative lineup. There it is. We got it. You know it's going to work out, too. There's... can't fail. Can't fail. Oh, Byron's back from being on the Draftcast, right? That's where you were? Obear, Thigala, Merritt, Harry Hall, Ryan Palmer. This is also doable, right, Charlie Carden? This is pretty close to... Do we like Ryan Palmer? I kind of like Ryan Palmer. Kind of like this lineup. Bob Shelton, Kevin Yu, Bob Shelton. I don't mind it. Not jumping up and down for joy for that one. I love Palmer. I do not like Kevin Tway. We are not... Actually, this would be a pretty good course for Kevin Tway. That's actually a really good lineup. Merritt U. Moore Craft. Do we like Ryan Moore that much? All right. 2 more lineups, and then I'm going to move on to Joanne's. Joanne, are you still in the chat by chance? And then Byron will do yours. So, Byron, we are currently building lineups for Shot Like Harden, who is anchoring around Obear and Sith Thagala. Tway and Kraft always play the Zurich team together. Oh, so you like the synergy between the two. Hey, here's a lineup that if Ryan didn't go to bed, he would like. He's a big Doc Redman fan. I wish I knew just some semblance of where Doc Redman's game is, because I don't mind playing Doc Redman, but I would not play Doc Redman with Davis Riley, who I have as a question mark, Kelly Kraft, which is a question mark, and Harry Hall, which is, he might be, hey, we need to figure out what Harry Hall's middle name is. Could he be Triple H? Do we think Harry's middle name is Henry? Henry Hall? Triple H, the game? Degeneration X to go for the degenerates of DFS golf? Matching the color scheme logo of Back Nine Bets? I'm trying to connect all the dots I can. Almond bread, Kraft, Mac Hughes, and Grillo cheese. Ooh, I like that. Is Mac Hughes even in this event? Or, yeah, is Mac Hughes in this event? I feel like my optimizer would have liked Hughes. He is. What the? How is he not? Interesting. Okay. That's crazy. Harry Philip Bodenhall. Oh, that sucks. Philip Bodenhall. That's Harry Hall's middle name is Philip Bowden. I'd make a joke about having two middle names, but on my birth certificate, I have two middle names. I no longer do, but yeah. I was going to say Hefner, Harry Hefner Hall. That'd have been funny. Okay, we are done. One last one for Shot Like Harden. Hughes and Kraft. Oh boy, this is really gonna weigh on Shot Like Harden's like he lives for this stuff. As soon as you talk about it, it shows up. Now, Grillo isn't going to show up because we have two 10Ks, but now we have Mac Hughes and Kelly Kraft. This is a Shot Like Harden that you have to play this now, because Kelly Kraft shows up with Mac Hughes. We don't have Grillo, but we can't have Grillo with the two guys that you anchored around. It just wouldn't work out. But now you've got Kraft Mac. I don't know who's the cheese in that. Maybe Kevin, you knows. Anyways, I'm saving it too because it's superstition on a Halloween night. I think that's the narrative, right? Any superstition that's happening right now, we got to play. Okay. Moving on to Joanne's lineups. Where are you, Joanne? There we are. Do we still want Aubert and Merritt? Probably, right? Byron, how was the draft cast, by the way? Norlander sounds cheesy. Aubert and Merritt, yeah. By the way, Joanne, I think your stream is behind. I remember asking that question a while ago. Just hit that live button, like right over there, right down there, and it'll boost you back up to us. Aubert Kuchar, Montgomery KH Lee, Brandon Wu, and Carl Yuan. Oh, we hit the end of the soundtrack. See, let's do another dark one. The last one, by the way, was John Carpenter Synth. This one, Dark Retro Wave playlist. Dark Descent. I had a blast, wore my Green Man suit and dressed up. Oh, it was a Green Man suit. I thought it was a brick costume. As back 9 boy. Oh my god, dude. Of course you have one of those suits. You actually have a lot of costumes, don't you? I like the Bob Ross one. Carl Yuan. I don't know about that one. Brandon Woo's gonna show up a lot, Joanne. Do you want me just to kick him out? Or do we like Brandon Woo this week? Obviously a lot of people do. Perhaps we just kick him out? I'm kicking him out. Interchangeable. Oh, sure. Yeah. Right. Right. Actually, I don't know how to do the Dr. Evil. Right. Right. Obear, Chris Kirk, Kuchar, KH Lee, Reevy, and Ben Taylor. I don't like that one. Chris Kirk. I don't know, man. I have my reservations. Yeah, this one's not super great either. Obear, Kuchar, Montgomery, KH Lee, Michael Kim, Ches Reevy. Look, if Almond Bread says someone is cheesy, he is cheesy. All right. Rose, what's your lineup? Say, Rose says it's going to be ugly. Obear, Kuchar, Montgomery, KH Lee, Michael Kim, MJ Duffy. Outside of Michael Kim, I'd say this is the lineup that I'd want to build around. Like, I like that one. I'm going to actually bring back Duffy. I'm going to kick out Kim. I don't like Kim that much. I don't want... And I've already built 40% of my lineups with Michael Kim in it, so... Don't like Reevy that much, but that's a really cool lineup. Obear, Kirk, Montgomery, KH Lee, Austin Eckroat, and Reevy. Obear, Kuchar, Montgomery, KH Lee, Sam Ryder, Carson Young. This, from what I've been told, is going to be chalky. But I think that's a chalk I'm willing to eat. Obear, Kuchar, Penrith, KH Lee, Eckroat, and Buckley. This is one of my favorite lineups of the night. I like this one a lot. When the lineups look good on paper, they'll... Yes, I agree. That usually happens. They're not good, like, with production, like producing results. Obear, Kuchar, Montgomery, KH Lee, Riley, Bryce Garnett. I don't mind that. And Bryce Garnett, 6K golfer, worth playing. Obear, Kuchar, Montgomery, KH Lee, Ryder, Ryan Gerard. Do we play Ryan Gerard this week? I'm not sure. Not terrible, but I don't know. Marty Doe. Yeah, sign me up. This lineup I like a lot. This might be my favorite lineup. I am going to do one more lineup to see if KH Lee or the if KH Lee shows up or the combination of Kuchar, Montgomery, KH Lee shows up. That happens, I'm gonna kick one of those guys out, and it's probably gonna be... I'll probably kick out Kuchar, honestly. So no Montgomery, but yeah, I'm gonna kick out Kuchar. %43 ownership so far of all the lineups I've built. Yeah, he shows up quite a bit. I usually agree whenever I say like that one's gross or that one looks ugly. I usually kind of followed up with, but that's the ugly we're looking for. Aubert, Suh, Pendrith, KH Lee, Harry Hall, Will Gordon. I don't mind that one. Ooh, Tano Goya. This is Byron brought Tano up not too long ago, or earlier on in the stream. Aubert, Suh, Montgomery, KH Lee, Sam Ryder, Goya. Sure. I am going to kick out KH Lee. That's too much KH Lee to be comfortable with so far with these Aubert Merritt. I forgot to lock in Merritt. I've been trying to build these lineups for Joanne without Troy Merritt in them. Did I put no for Merritt? Sometimes, yes, I did. I do that sometimes. Let's see, who do we want to bring back? Probably Gordon, probably Buckley. Duffy I'll bring back. Marty Doe I'll bring back. I am so sorry, Joanne. I'll bring back Marty Doe, and that's probably gonna be it. Aubert, Suh, Pendrith, Ryder, Merritt, and Harry Hall. Not terrible. Do we like it enough? I don't know if I like Justin Suh that much. I got no issue playing Justin Suh, but that's a lot of Justin Suh. Sure. Save it, and then I'm going to boot out Suh. Aubert, Kirk, Pendrith, Eckroat. I don't mind that. I'm going to kick out Kirk, though. Aubert. Ooh, first Keith Mitchell spotting. And Andrew Putnam as well. I like that. A little different. Let's kick out. Oh, Gordon's already going to get kicked there. Before we wrap it up later, can you tell us your 3 favorite lineups we built? Sure, I can do that. Aubert, Putnam, Pendrith, Griffin, Ryder, Merritt. I like that one. That's no 6K golfer in it, by the way, but I like it. Let's kick out. It's a lot of Taylor Pendrith showing up, right? Man, between Pendrith and Putnam, I'm not sure. I think I kick out Putnam. Aubert, Thompson, Pendrith, Riley, Ryder, Merritt. Okay, we'll kick out. I mean, that's the first Davis Thompson lineup. I guess I gotta save that. Let me kick out Pendrith. Aubert, wow, 2 double H's. Is Harry Higgs' middle name an H? Is that the true Triple H? Harry Hall? Or I mean Harry Higgs? By the way, 2 Harrys don't make a right, so we'll probably just stay away from that. Aubert, Spawn, Mitchell. Interesting. Maybe it does make a right. Scary. Aubert, Mitchell, Griffin, Montgomery, Merritt, Palmer. I love that lineup. I don't like 2 $7,900 golfers, though. And that's a superstition I don't like, that I probably want to stay away from. Well, we'll say we built it. If it ends up being the optimal, we can say we built it. Ooh, Hubbard shows up with Thompson. Okay, yeah, I can get behind something like this because it's different. Okay, 2 more lineups for Joanne, and I think Byron, if you're still in the chat, we'll do some lineups for you. I think I want to kick out Hall. It's way too much Harry Hall. Way too much. Obear, Mitchell, Montgomery, Riley, Merritt, Ishikawa. Weird. Isn't Rio and Obear playing together? Oh, they are. So I wouldn't do it. They're just not in the marquee tee time. And that's kind of the only thing that my optimizer's looking at, are the marquee tee time numbers. Obear, Mitchell, Thompson, Duncan, Lashley. I don't think so. Not a huge fan of Tyler Duncan this week. Lashley, Merritt, Martin, Laird. Yeah, it's not terrible. I'm trying to just do a couple extra ones because I want to see if there's a good one that shows up. I could go back to Justin Lauer this week. That one's interesting. Sure. Okay. Those were lineups for Joanne. Let's scroll down and try to find the next one. I think it's Byron's. Yep. Okay. So we're all caught up. I don't think there are any other. I mean, I think Byron also had 2 other guys. He wants Ryder, Henrik, and Glover. And then he wants to see lineups built of 2 of the top 10K golfers. Okay. So we're going to go with Glover. Right. Norlander and Ryder. Going back to Ryder, hey, Byron? Rose goes, you want to see something? I'm looking at this now? Yeah, absolutely, dude. Don't stress about finding the 10K guy. It's finding with 10. Well, I have an idea how to do it. Glover, Suck, Kuchar, Ryder, Norlander, and Yuan. And Norlander's actually a little bit better than Yuan. I think I need to give a 100-point boost to Norlander. Love Ryder at a course where his driver can't get him in that much trouble. Fair enough. I don't disagree. Oh, Chesson Hadley gets added to this one. Glover, Mitchell, Kuchar, Hadley, Ryder, Norlander. I don't think so. Glover, Mitchell, Thompson, Ryder, Wu, Norlander. That's leaving $800 on the table. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but that's interesting. It is stuck on Mitchell. Do we want to play Mitchell, Byron? I can kick Mitchell out. This is a pretty sexy lineup, though. Okay. Do we like Kuchar? We love Hadley. So I got to bring Hadley back, huh? Do you want Kuchar? locked out. Glover, Mitchell, yeah, Kuchar once again. Yeah, this is the lineup I just had. Kuchar off with some rest with lots of par 5s. Sign me up. Fair enough. Well, I need to kick someone out, Byron. It wants to kick Hadley out. So I guess we'll kick Hadley out. Oh, it got to Peter Quest naturally for you. Glover, Mitchell, Kuchar, Ryder, Quest, Norlander. I think that's probably the coup de grace, right? This is like the best lineup ever. Glover, Kirk, Mitchell, Ryder, Norlander, Garnett. Probably not. The quest begins. The quest for Byron winning a GPP begins today. In Minnesota, I heard the city was underground because of the cold. Is this true? I'm trying to read if there's a joke in there. If there is, it's over my head. I'm not sure. H. Harry, H. Norlander, R. Shelton with Chesson, my 4. Okay. That's interesting. Sahith, Glover, Ryder, Hardy, Norlander, and Reeby. Get rid of Ches. There you go. Do you like Ben Taylor any better? Leaving $600 on the table. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Ooh. Glover, List, Kuchar, Ryder, Norlander, Hayden Buckley. Kind of like Hayden Buckley this week. No joke. I mean, it is cold. Within the last week, it probably went from, I mean, it was getting cold. I guess in the last 2 weeks, it probably went from like 50s to 20s. So it got cold fast. Glover, Kirk, Pendrith, Ryder, Nick Hardy, Henrik, Norlander, leaving $700 on the table. Oof. Yeah. Rom threw out first pitch tonight in the green jacket. That's pretty cool. Glover, List, Suh, Ryder, Eckroat, Norlander. Yeah, I can get behind that lineup. 1098, 777. Glover, Mitchell, Kuchar, Ryder, Norlander, Duffy. There we go, Byron. Duffy gets added to the mix. It's another $800 on the table. Do we do that? I can't, as much as I have $800 on, actually, you know what? That's probably going to work out. It's a good lineup. If you don't look at the price tag, it's a lineup that I could get behind. For that $800, adding in Cam Young isn't terrible. I'm actually going to highlight that one because I kind of want to build that one with Cam Young in it as well, if it's possible. I'm entering to 150 max, so I'm still leaving stacks on. Okay. Are you max entering? Is that what you're saying? I am entering to 150 max. It was 80 in Delaware 2 days ago, and now it's 45. Yeah, dude, it's crazy. Crazy. Look at this one. O'Bear, Glover, Ryder, Hall, Norlander, and Zach Blair. It's another lineup I like. If you just put those like, hey, these 5 guys can be in the same lineup together, I'm cool with that. Sahith, Glover, Ryder, Wu, Norlander, Martin. I don't mind that one either. That's a good one. All right, couple more here, Byron, and then I'm gonna build that 2 10Ks, and we'll see what it does. Thigala, Glover, KH Lee, Ryder, Norlander, Carson Young. So we know that's gonna be somewhat chalky. It's pretty good though. I like it. Glover, Kirk, Pendrith, Ryder, Eckroat, Norlander. Interesting. I went down to Nashville for the weekend, left my AC on because it was hot Thursday, came back to yeah, not smart. Not a good one. Looks like it really likes Glover with Sahith. Yeah. Yeah, it seems like a good combo to put together. Interesting lineup on the screen with Ramey in there. I don't think I can leave $700 with Ramey though. Like that's just ugh. Yeah, we're kind of getting some gross lineups now. Although this one isn't that bad. Glover, Mitchell, Pendrith, Gim, Ryder, Norlander. I just don't think I could build that many more Glover lineups. If I'm building 100 lineups, like he already has enough ownership for me. Like I don't think I want Glover in more than 12% of my lineups. Because I would much rather have O'Bear, Cam Young, or Sahith Thigala. Actually, I would just much rather have O'Bear or Cam Young, and I wouldn't mind putting those two in like 95% of my lineups. That one's okay. All right, last one. Glover, Hosler, Pendrith, Ryder, Lashley, Norlander. It's different. I don't have Hosler with Glover. That's good enough for me. Okay. Why don't we like Glover? Because I like O'Bear and Cam Young more. It's not that I don't like Glover. I just don't want, you know, because I'm already going to have high exposures of O'Bear and Cam Young. I just don't want to waste my time with Glover. Can't put really those two 10K golfers together. I mean, I could, but I feel like for GPP, he's going to be under-owned. That's cool. You've been here long enough to know I don't really care about ownership, especially for 10K golfers. Like the raw talent for O'Bear and Cam Young, like O'Bear this week. So I'm going to equate it to like the Mexico Open. O'Bear and Rahm. I'd be cool being overweight on O'Bear if O'Bear's at 45% ownership. Actually 30% ownership. I would go 45, 50%. Like I just that. This is a week where if I'm not on O'Bear and he wins, I will be that much more upset. Like I'll be way more upset at that than if Glover wins and I'm not on Glover. If you understand what I'm saying. If Glover wins and I'm not on him, that's fine. I don't feel like I'm missing out, honestly. If O'Bear wins and I'm not on O'Bear, I will stub my toe against the wall. I'll be that mad. For those that care about ownership. Yeah, I mean the ceiling for O'Bear. It's funny, like the Fantasy Golf Boys or the pod, Chad kind of mentioned it, and like Josh on there kind of makes fun of me. I had mentioned back in the fall last year, not the fall last year. O'Bear came out at the Rocket Mortgage Classic, and I think I had said, yeah, well, the guy has a top 5 golf swing in all of PGA Tour. And I remember they kind of gave me shit for that then, and then they're kind of giving me shit for it not too long ago, and it's like, he does. The guy's golf swing is one of the best golf swings on the PGA Tour. The guy's gonna, I mean, short game needs more creativity. And maybe it doesn't. Maybe if he just sticks to fundamentals, he's just gonna win at some point in time. So if I'm building lineups, I'm having Aubert in a lot of my lineups. So here's what I'm gonna do, Byron. I'm putting in my 10K filter, 2 10Ks, and we're gonna see what comes up with lineups. I'm not selecting Aubert, Young, or Thegal. I just want to see what it does. Here we go, Aubert and Glover with KH Lee, Wu, Norlander, Ben Taylor. I don't really care for that one. I agree, Shalike Harden. Obviously you can't hit a perfect golf shot every single time. But Adam Scott still misses with such a technically sound golf swing. I get reminded of the Wyndham Championship, I think it was the Wyndham, where he pulls his driver, hits the trees like 20 yards in front of him, and then just drops. The ball just drops. So it looks like he hit he topped it off the tee. How does that happen with someone like Adam Scott? It's really weird. Like, obviously he can still miss. Same applies for Hideki. Like, timing stuff, that stuff, when that misses, you're obviously going to miss big time. But, yeah, I don't know. I almost think Aubert has just the innocence about him that he can go up, fire a driver when he shouldn't hit a driver, and it's just down the middle. And people look around and go, you weren't supposed to do that. You're not supposed to hit a driver there. Like, that's what I feel like Aubert's like. Whereas I think Adam Scott has enough trauma. I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to get at with all that is, yes, I think Adam Scott has the best golf swing on tour, but it's so robotic that it kind of doesn't have enough freedom to correct. Like, if he gets out of sequence, it's hard for him to correct because it's so robotic. I'm not saying he hits the ball like way off the map or anything like that, but that's why we don't see him winning still all that much. Adam Long, AJ Love. I'm gonna try to wrap up before 10, which is in 2 minutes. So let me cruise through some of these here, just see if we see anything cool. So far, not so much, and it's KH Lee, Wu, and Norlander. I don't have Norlander. Oh, I have Norlander up 100 points. That's why. Like, I don't have Norlander locked in, do I? No. Should be 756. Hit with the right 6K golfer, you set yourself different from the rest. Not wrong. You're absolutely right. But I think I've been doing this long enough, and we've all gone through this long enough, where even with the correct 6K golfer, if you still don't hit with the top guy, so if you do this Glover pivot from Aubert just because of ownership, and you find that 6K golfer, let's say it's Tano Goya, and you're like, I'm going to do Goya and Glover together. If Glover's not your top guy and Aubert is, like, if Aubert outperforms Glover, kind of like what we were talking about before, you almost, I mean, you don't get eliminated from like performing high, but you eliminate yourself from winning a GPP. Thanks for hosting, Darbo. Oh, absolutely. I think it's still way more important to get the top right than the bottom. And I know some people think it's the bottom, and like, I will have a healthy debate with anyone on that, and that's fine. It's just, I think the easiest to try to get right is to figure out the top and then trickle down from there. Finding someone at the bottom, I mean, like, we've all done the soul searching for 6K golfers. You know, we had the 6K Whisperer Barry R here for a while, but we can never figure it out. Ooh, our first Jaeger lineup. Jaeger, Glover, Kuchar, Gordon, Buckley, Lipsky. 3 flat 7Ks. Oh, okay. There's your superstition lineup right there. Aubert, Glover, Montgomery, Wu, Lashley, Trevor Cone. It was just a cone. Wedding Crashers. Okay. I'm going to do one last one. I'll recap my favorite 3 like AJ wants. I don't want to end on that one. Yeah, that's whatever. Brandon Wu shows up too much. Okay. Let's recap my favorite 3. I know they were down here somewhere. Jeez. Let's see here. Yeah, I think they're like here. So Aubert, Thigala, Brandon Wu, Harry Hall, Zach Blair, Ben Martin. I don't know. They were down here somewhere, weren't they? That's fine. I'm just not a huge Brandon Wu fan this week, so I'm not sure if those are really my favorite. This one here, for sure. Yeah, I think I know where I'm at now. Aubert, Kuchar, Pendrith, KH Lee, Austin Eckroat, and Hayden Buckley. Like that one. I also like the one that's right above it. It's a different Taylor. It's the same guys. KH Lee, Kuchar, and Aubert going with some different guys. So these are definitely 2 that I really like. Justin Suh, I don't mind. Like these lineups that are just above Kuchar. I don't mind them. They're good like pivots if you want to think of it as a pivot. So definitely these 2, because I do like Marty Doe. I also really like Hayden Buckley this week. I want an MJ Duffy lineup to work because I think this is a perfect place for MJ Duffy. I kind of like this lineup that we built for Byron, Lucas Glover, Mitchell, Kuchar, Ryder, Quest, and Norlander. And also the one that's above that has Norlander and Duffy, because that's kind of an interchange. That's like a pivot one. Those are fine. Let's see here. A lot of what I like to do is look at who the last golfer was in, or the last golfer in the lineup, who that guy was, and try to figure out lineups from there. Like this lineup, I think also has a lot of potential. I like that one too. I'm now seeing Brandon Wu's name a lot, and I don't like it. We built these Kelly Craft lineups for Ryan, which I'm gonna probably pick 2 of these lineups and then delete the rest if I was to put them into contests, because I don't want that much exposure to Kelly Craft. But yeah, I think those are probably the ones that I just highlighted. Those were the ones that I liked. If I was to build a lineup without any influence, I think I'd start Aubert. I kind of want Dietrich in my lineup, or Spawn, or even Akshay. But I might let the optimizer just select. I don't want Kuchar because I just see Kuchar too much. I kind of want Taylor Montgomery in my lineups. I don't... KH Lee I think is fine. Let's see. I'm just going to see what the optimizer does here, and then I might just build off of that. Yeah, I don't care for Bob. Oh, Brandon Wu, I'm going to get out too. your favorite three theme song plays. Aubert sub Pendrith. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know if I want, like, this here to me has so much potential. I actually do like this lineup. They're all long hitters. Probably not Putnam. Laird, I don't mind playing whatsoever, but I don't think I'm gonna have Putnam. See, I don't want Putnam. I don't want Pendrith. Aubert, Montgomery, Cage. Yeah, I don't want that because Aubert and Ishikawa are playing together. So something like this is what I'd like to see. Like I like Marty Doe, 6K. I kind of trust that. Nick Hardy, not sure if that's the right play, but I like it. I always go back Wednesday night and rewatch the show and picks. I should do more of going back and just taking a look to see what was said. I usually like to try to do that in the reviews to some extent. Especially if I know we were on 3 guys that did really well. I want to double check to see. Something like this I like a lot. Aubert, Hubbard, Thompson, Montgomery, Hall, Buckley. The only thing I don't like is Harry Hall. Like, I want to bring back Buckley and then take out Hall. I get kind of weird about seeing the same golfer show up over and over and over again. I don't want to be burned by the optimizer selecting too much, but then at the same time, when the optimizer does select a golfer too much, it tends to be right when I'm not on it. Okay, cool. I was waiting for a Dietrich lineup to show up, and this is a lineup I like. Like, Isaiah Salinda I don't really care for, but I want to save it just to have that. And even something like this I like a lot. Cool. All right, 59 lineups, perfect. It's a good number. The family likes the number 59. All right, guys, I gotta go. I gotta go to the bathroom real bad. So we're just gonna end the stream, and hopefully I was able to get you on some golfers maybe you weren't originally thinking about playing. And for the people I built lineups for, I hope we found a winner somewhere in there. But I am going to bid you all adieu. Thank you for being with me for the 3 hours that I'm on. I still have like 5 viewers, it looks like, so that's awesome. Anyways, I will see you guys next week. Again, if you're not subscribed, get subscribed so you can enter the giveaways. And hopefully the monthly giveaway that will be running next week. It will be next week. We can do for $50 instead of a t-shirt. We need to get to 600 subscribers. You see the goal way over there to the left. Got to get there before we do that. And then obviously we'll do the weekly giveaway too. Everyone who participated in the chat today, y'all get free entries in there. So thank you for participating. Thank you for being subscribed. Thank you for watching. All right, guys, time to go. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.